Yo, what is up? I think we're all done with most of the modeling. Definitely want to just move into skinning phase at this point. So yeah, we have some topology things that are going to be kind of funny, specifically with the hands, but everything else is pretty generic. I haven't skinned myself kind of like accessories like this before, so that's just going to be something new. I have skinned a couple times, like just skin tight suits, which this is pretty much that. And the main differences are the shoulder pieces are going to get pretty much hard rigged to the clavicles, or maybe a helper bone off a clavicle. These are hard rigged too, very similar to how I did the knight armor and the Master Chief armor. And the belts are kind of a new thing for me. I've never done the hands, especially with the new MetaHuman skeleton. And I have worries that the whole MetaHuman skeleton may not work in general. The preview mesh, anyway. Let's see. So I think there was some interesting marketplace stuff, but this is I got a lot of stuff to get through. So this is the skeletal mesh now. Not fully prepped yet. Doesn't have textures on it. I don't know if I should put the textures on it. I guess it makes sense to skin it with it being textured. I actually don't know. I don't know if people skin with the textures on or not. I hadn't been, because I made all my textures before this in Unreal Engine itself. I wasn't like actually generating them. But I'm gonna make a new project, new scene, Maya MA. I got a lot now. 31. We are moving into the first skinning phase, and we're not going to be making a Maya control rig. We'll be, of course, using the MetaHuman one, which is the whole reason to use the MetaHuman skeleton anyway. So, to start, I don't think we need the high poly anymore. It doesn't like hurt us to keep it, but time to get rid of it. Also time to start organizing this. So these need to come out of the null. These need to live in the main directory. They probably already are, but we're going to kill all the history. Now there's still stuff on there. Transforms, everything needs to be at 1. And then we're going to start combining. So at this phase, we need to join together all the parts that want to be a singular skeletal mesh. And so for me, that's going to be at least this is like the shirt, and the hands could be separate. However, this skin doesn't work without the hands. So, and we have already, oh no, it was just a rendering error. This should be one skeletal mesh, and it would go in the MetaHuman torso or upper body slot. I forget what they call it. Things are still hulled, and we would also keep the materials like this. Like we can't change the materials, or the textures we made in the last video stream situation don't work. But we can combine this together now. History, transform. This is really just the MetaHuman chest. And this outfit also doesn't really work as separates, so they're just one piece as well. So this whole thing is 2 skeletal meshes, which is kind of nice and simple to bring into Unreal Engine and test for later. We could say upper body, lower body, something like that. So after, it's been like 2 weeks, took a bit longer. It took like 50% longer than I thought it would to get to this point. And we're going to end up with 2 skeletal meshes going back to Unreal Engine. This one has 3 material slots on it that we made last time, and this one is just 1. So I guess it's probably worth assembling that. But more importantly, I'm gonna save here actually, because this is like the clean start to everything. I'm gonna start a new one because there's a real good chance I keep coming back to this one. And I don't remember if I have I'm gonna start a new file. I need to go find the MetaHuman skeleton I'm gonna rig it to. I don't think I have it actually. Need to go find it. It would probably have been put in here. Preview. Is it this one? From UE. Oh, it's this one. Never mind. Male-tall normal body preview. Not preview. Oh, not preview. So this is like the actual skeleton. Let me see. Oh, that's coming with all the things. This is all the LODs, like everything. Which we don't need this, but I just wanted to look at it. What's up with my grid? Did I never set my grid for this Maya? That's crazy. I guess I haven't been doing like architectural stuff. So I'm going to open up an Unreal Engine in a second. Technically, we could skin to this skeleton. I mean, and probably we should, I guess. The main issue being that there is no shoulders. There's no shoulders, there's no neck or head in this case. And it's also like a very high poly mesh, which I feel like with the copy skin weights technique, you want to work with a lower body mesh. But these are the things to experiment with. So let me go open up. I'm pretty sure on this computer I've started the VTuber or whatever, like the avatar project for this. So I'm going to go look at the preview mesh and try a couple different skinning things. Where are you? MetaHuman Witcher. Yeah, it should be somewhere around here. This one. Witcher meta. That sounds about right. 4.27. So I'm going to export the male-tall normal preview mesh. And we have the actual body mesh of the MetaHuman we're going to be using. But we're just using his head. We have completely recreated everything else from scratch. Not even using the hand. So this is the first like full body MetaHuman skin I've ever really made. It's not done. Do we have a map for this dude? I don't see it. Do we have anything in here? We just have the MetaHuman itself, I guess. This guy. Oh, is this going to generate all the curves? I should have done this beforehand. I don't know if this is going to be a full generation here. No, okay. So I've opened this before. So this is going to be his face for now, though he's we could go and regenerate him a bunch of times, and the hope with like sticking to one size MetaHuman body is that you can just switch the heads out as you need, as long as it's a male tall normal. It should be fine. So the thing I need out of this project, which I might have already exported, I don't remember, is this. It looks like I have, but anyway, I'm going to double check. We need this. So in the previous version of MetaHuman, there was a head. So you would get like free copy skin weights for the head. That being said, the heads are different sizes, and the shoulders, I think the shoulders are different sizes, so that may not be worth it. Or it's not the full story. But as I copy skin weights, I don't know what's going to happen when there's nothing there. So we'll be seeing. So the main difference I think with this one is that it's slightly lower poly than the LOD 0, but the LOD 0 MetaHuman body for reprojecting. So this might come out better, it might come out worse. I don't really know. Either case, the new MetaHumans, oh yeah, Cinetracer stuff. The new MetaHumans just don't have heads or necks or shoulders, really, or like traps. This one. So that's like the full LOD 0. This is the preview, and I'm gonna write 050, meaning it's the new one. I don't know if this matters. I don't need any of this other stuff, but we'll strip it out in Maya as we need to. I guess that's all we really need Unreal Engine for, just for now, but it's not too heavy, just running around doing nothing in the background. So let's look at, so if you import this again, it's going to do it like over the same skeleton, I think. I don't understand how this works with name spacing in Maya, but we're not going to be doing two skeletons in here anyway. But let me say, I wanted to test this. Oh, that's coming with a lot of stuff. Did I import the right one? Melton number preview. Oh no, okay, actually, did it make it its own skeleton? Oh, I think it did. Oh, that's nice. That wasn't working before. So if I look at the topology on this one, it's easier to see like this, I think. This is exactly the same now. Okay, so this is different too then with the new MetaHuman. Oh no. See, it's still using the skeleton. Yeah. This is the exact same naming, so it's like, yeah, go in there. But this mesh, it turns out, is exactly the same. So we could pretty much just use this then. The old preview mesh I used to work with, well, it didn't have toes for certain. Had a head and was low poly and worked pretty fine. But we're going to start to use this one. So that's something I needed to find out. I wish it had the head because now I have to... there's some bones up here that are kind of hard to weight paint by hand, but see how it goes. Go back to 32, so our first skinning one. So it basically doesn't matter which skeleton we use. That's good. I was going to do both, so this kind of saves time, I suppose. So we're going to go import in... It doesn't even matter then. It's going to be this one. The not preview version. So there were some keyframes or something like that on there. So, like I kind of mentioned when I was sculpting the boots, in the smoothing process and whatnot, I didn't quite keep the mask correctly. So for this person's feet, you know, the shoes and certain parts of the body will be kind of popping out. Same thing with the hands, which this is more of an issue than the other ones, but things are a little bit smaller because I think I did an extraction in a ZR mesh into a retopo, and then I didn't really like rescale everything, so the gloves and the feet are a little small. That's kind of what happens with that technique. And same back here, pretty much skin tight, which makes rigging easier, hopefully. That is the hope. So it's been a second. Let me see here. So we are going to start with the upper body. So that's going to immediately bring us into this. Let's try the lower body first. Okay, so we're going to go pants. So we're going to say this skeleton, which we're going to pull out. This skeleton and the lower body. Let's do a bind. Skin bind. Oh, this is my first time in this Maya. I need to go look up the settings for copy skin weights. Let's see if I can remember it. Joint hierarchy, closest distance, classic linear. We'll do 4. That's all fine. Okay. So just to make sure it's on there, and then we'll... Oh. Forgot about the LODs. And I forget how to interact with LODs in Maya. Okay, so we have some other things to kind of catch up on. But let's look at just generally. We're going to pretend these don't exist. Okay, time to switch into X-ray bones. So I have the thigh. Let's just make sure it's like actually skinned, and then we'll start to look at the rest of it. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. That almost auto weighting came out pretty fine too. Oh my god, the toes, please don't. Now I wonder if all the weighting... Oh, that's not bad. That's not too bad, actually. So that means that, like, I mean, I haven't done the copy skin weights, but that means I kind of don't have to deal with these because of how that's rigged. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm still going to strip all the weights off of these eventually, but... Okay, then we'll try a copy skin weights from this. Now, I don't know if this is a problem because it's... Oh, those are the LODs. Oh, yeah. I should study these LODs a little bit, but that's after. So we're going to try to go from LOD 0 back to lower body with a copy skin weights. Closest point on surface. Closest joint. 1:1 normalize. I believe that's the setting. I don't know if it's closest joint or bone. I need to look that up. Damn, I don't know where that is. I have a picture of this on what this is supposed to be, but I'll just try it. So this skinning should be slightly better now, possibly. On this one. What's up, John? We will see though. Yeah, it's already better, right? Like, did I see this pop out here? Maybe. But this weighting's already better. Like this. That's pretty good. I don't really even see doing too much to that one. And because I went for like basically skin tight symmetrical rigging, topology on this, the copy skin weights are like almost identical. Like it's very clean on that axis too now. The calf looks pretty good overall. We don't really know until we get back into Unreal Engine because like these helper bones start firing. But generally that looks, pretty good. Look at the foot. That's pretty nice. And then the ball, we're going to try to ignore the toes because they're just kind of on there. Okay. So we can hide the body. This, that makes my fears of the toe bones way less. Copy skin weight still pretty much works. And although these bones are there, we can pretty much forget that they're there. So that's nicely rigged. Chris, who probably had a hand in making this new skeleton, did mention, I was talking about how the fact that this toe bone is, all the toe bones are parented under the ball joint, meaning that all we have to do is animate the ball joint like normal. We could build control rigs off of the ball joint. And for feeding mocap, it's all from the ball joint. So you can basically ignore these. So that's a nice design, while giving whatever developers need actual toe bones access to them. So that's good. And that makes the rigging pretty easy too. So the lower body's pretty much done. It's going to be how it interacts with this section. Because I didn't seam this together, there's going to be some intersection problems, but should be okay. So the lower body's pretty much done. That's nice. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna take this skeleton, and it's this little T-pose I have, sends him back to bind. Let's go ahead and save, because that seems completely fine. Not like I couldn't redo that in like 2 seconds, but that's nice. I don't expect the upper body to go the same, and it never does. I mean, we have this soup down here too. But kind of deathly interested to see how it goes. So we're going to go up. We're going to go skeleton to upper body. I don't think that order probably matters, but that's how I would think it wants to be selected. We're going to bind it. This doesn't matter. But we just want to make sure that it's actually on there. And it's gonna be crazy, but it should still work. So let's go to object. I think object and component might be the same for bones. I don't remember. Okay, so at least it's on there. Okay, then we're gonna copy skin weights here. And for a lot of areas, that's not gonna make any sense because there's no neck and blah blah blah. There's hard bind stuff, but generally, mostly for the hands, I mean, for a lot of it, it's gonna help quite a bit. So we're gonna go from the MetaHuman LOD, which I'll turn back on just in case that matters. We're going to go LOD 0 to upper body. We're going to skin, copy skin weights, just double check. Closest joint 1-to-1, copy. Okay, so let's hide this. Get back in here. Let's check out these spines, see how that turned out. Apparently you don't rotate 5, I don't think. That's pretty good. Seems fine. There's going to be a question of like on this belt, right? So like if you turned all the way, we have to consider what really happens to this. Like right now it's stretching, but it's still fine, right? And so it's going to stretch, But however, you know, the range of motion of what I would be doing is pretty low, but we're going to be watching this belt move, so that's a question, right? So the accessories on the chest was the challenge for me, for sure. Like creative challenge. So same thing here. This is actually pretty good. If this is spine 4 and we don't really do a ton of spine 5 stuff, this is going to work out pretty well because none of the accessories are really moving. So that's perfect. Kind of where I decided to put, I wasn't even looking at the skeleton when I made this, but putting the cut right there is nice because basically everything that's this mesh and up is basically hard bound until we start moving the shoulders. But as far as the spines are concerned, it's pretty much a hard bind. And even this, which I need to go look in my, basically directly after this, I'm going to go back into Vicon and start looking at my primary solve and retarget. And I don't remember how active spine 5 is, but I would definitely look to chill it out a ton because we start to have, I mean, there's no way spine 5 can do that much like this. It's impossible for your body to do that. My body anyway. But it's a treacherous one given it starts to shear these in a bad way, and these don't have the resolution to handle that. And really, this is leather, so it's kind of a hard bind anyway. Like it shouldn't be deforming very much. So the spines are pretty good, and for like modest, like conservative movement, like I do, like I'm not doing back bends and stuff like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. When I go and do mocap tests, there's gonna be a point where like when I bend down or something like that, where like my pants are gonna clip through the shirt. It's gonna happen somewhere. I can test it in Control Rig too, actually. So the neck and the head probably have no weights, and I'll start ngSkinTools in a second, but like there was no mesh there. So normally, right, these would be grabbing the neck, this collar, and we have nothing there. So that's going to have to be manually done if I want it. Usually I would be unskinning things. Like this would be skin to the head, this would be skin to the head, but it's not. So that's something I have to get into in a second. And then we take the journey down the arm. Should turn on skintools in a second. Hey, okay, actually, Now, the clavicle is affecting quite severely the neck. That's a problem. It's what, projecting from the other skeleton, this would have been better. So that's kind of, that's gonna be a thing to unsort those. Whoa, that moved kind of weird, hold on. What axis are you moving on? Is that this? Well, anyway, moving into T-pose-ish, like flat clavicles. The MetaHumans are bound in like real A pose, like the shoulders are going down. That can't happen, so we'll be getting rid of that. Moving on to upper arm, which has really no direct skin weights on it. Into straight. Okay, so this is the trait. This is like what's new about using the new MetaHuman for copy skin weights, is that like there's no mesh here, so it's like closest bone is this. So this entire section needs to be completely unweighted. So it's already way more of a pain in the ass than the other skeleton. I should keyframe an ROM, but I'm not there yet. So the things that are actually skinned are these bones, these two helper bones, this twist helper bone, these four, and then there's a bunch. There's these two for they're children of the clavicles, and they do like kind of the top shoulder, the back, and then these like kind of chest bones. But it's pretty much rigid through here. I mean, there's a bit of like, they kind of simulate like bicep flexing and stuff like that, and elbow mass preservation down here. But we actually can't test how this rotates until we start grabbing like these. Like that's what it's actually skinned to, are these twist bones. But we can't really see how it works until we're in Unreal Engine. But kind of loosely look at this. I really don't know. It's hard to say. Okay, so here's the real one. Display. animation joint size. I should probably put this like right there. So hold on, let's go to display animation joint size right there. JS. So we're gonna go to like 0.25, 0.2, 0.3. I like 0.2 for the hands anyway. Okay. Hand. So this is gonna be the wrist bone. But again, we don't, it's skinned to a lot of things, but it's mostly, there's these two bones on the bottom and the top, which the fingers now have too, and they're going to be pose driven in Unreal Engine. So we can't really see what's going on, but overall, this looks like a very even weighting. And then these bones do the work to kind of help preserve that and not have it like collapse on itself like that. That's pretty good. That looks pretty decent. So, oh, here's the wrist inner and outer, yeah. So, the metacarpals, not massively active on the Vicon solve, but they're doing the thing. Hey, this copy of skin weight on this glove looks perfect. I mean, I tried to make it skin weight, but this is so far, oh my god, perfect. That's perfect. Let's check out this one. This is symmetrical too. The hands. Oh, that did it perfectly. That's thumbs later. Thumbs like a whole different story. Okay. So far the metacarpal skidding is absolutely perfect. There's no like cross weighting. That's why I try to keep this glove like so skin tight. So the thumb, we're in component. The thumb is interesting how it moves. It's kind of like free on almost every axis here. Interesting. Okay, so this bone's important. I mean, this is like the fleshy part in between. I'm sure this is doing something very active in its pose driver. I haven't studied the hand pose driver yet, but that's placed pretty nicely. The thumb. I think this axis is not very active like at all. Usually, like not much happens with it. It can kind of like work like a twist bone or something like that, but it basically I don't really animate this bone very much. And wait, what's the bone? What drives this? Where's this thing? Wait, thumb. Oh, it's in here. Thumb to half. Wow, the thumb is crazy now. What is thumb to half doing? Jeez. Thumb 3/2. Man, they went nuts in here. But anyway, the skinning's nice, despite my like 10 gone weird topo. That's like pretty perfect. Okay, so I was pretty afraid of the feet and the hands, and this is so far turned out to be like perfect if you stick close to the topology. I mean, as soon as you go weird on the topology, of course, copy skin weight is going to start to pull from very odd areas, but kind of like what happened around the neck. Ooh. That's still pretty clean. I'm not that mad at that. But I mean, it's a little stretchy, so we could smooth. I got to see what's pulling on this inner area. It's got to be these two bones are fighting over it. It looks pretty even though. It's not bad. And then we got to see like what these bones do to counter, but like that's like, you know, that's the kind of stretching you get. I mean, these are basically like legs, the way that they're skinned. These is 4 legs skinned to one body. But still pretty good. That's good. This is good. Index half is not about, wait, what? Where's 4? The hand skeleton now is like insane. Wait, where's oh, is that the last one? Oh no, that's it. Okay, never mind. I need like the skin texture to tell me like what knuckle I'm on. Okay, so that's fine. So far, this seems completely viable to just go straight into mocap testing. I don't see anything too crazy. This isn't the greatest. There's definitely like some like immediate like skin issues here. It could probably use a tiny bit more resolution maybe. But I'm okay with that. I was more worried about like the individual fingers being contaminated with each other, like this bone pulling this finger and stuff like that, and then you got to bust open the ngSkinTools and start like really reweighting. We're gonna have to do that to the damn shoulder area though, like no question. Oh, that was the metacarpal. Am I like rocking this metacarpal too hard? Probably. This one, this unfortunately this primary joint's pretty bad. And what it is when I made this skeleton, or when I made the mesh, I wasn't really looking at the skeleton. So this like crotchy intersection that happens here is actually a glove. It's like these are like fingerless gloves when we put the texture on it. So there's no, like this crotch should be like back here. So it's kind of like it was kind of modeled in a way that's not good for the skeleton. I still think like overall it's gonna be fine, but when I'm doing my base model, like so next time I make a skin for the MetaHuman, which I'm not gonna do the hands, but next time I make a skin, I need to have the skeleton there. Because we're kind of reverse engineering, you know. Most of the times you're gonna model like a whole skin, and then you put the skeleton in to fit the model. But that's when you're making skins of an existing, you need to more closely match. So it's pretty good, but like all this tearing that's gonna happen here is because I put the crotches of the fingers like a span too far up, which is kind of rough. It's a glove, so the stretching is more believable. Yeah, possibly. I mean, like ultimately, like this skinning, this like this copy skin weights is like fine, because like there's probably like a little bit of management happening with the secondaries, but unless we're doing shots of the hands, and we're not looking at the full story, like all of these bones, they're firing all sorts of logic when we do this. But I record stuff out here, you know what I mean? Like, and it's moving, so it's like you're not gonna see it. The main thing would be like the pinky pulling the like this vert down here, which it's not doing. So that's very good. We already tested the metacarpal. I should probably put the material on it as well. I just wanted to see like how screwed I am and where I'm going to be working today. Luckily with the pants, and I learned this from doing stuff with Marvelous Designer, is symmetrical skin tight pants unless there's like a really good reason not to. When you Marvelous Designer pants like this, they come out uneven, not symmetrical, obviously not skin tight. And then when you go to rig them, it's like you have so much more work to fix this stuff in the butt, and it's like for what? For like a wrinkle, you know? Like it makes the rigging so much harder. So like you really need it to go for like baggy pants. That's partially why I chose this outfit. Like it's pretty much skin tight except for these hard rigs and then the collar. So the glove looks good enough to start testing in Unreal Engine anyway. So that's good. That was a scary area, completely fine. I was very scared of this too because of the toe hierarchy, completely fine. Works completely fine. I don't even need to ngSkinTools it. So unfortunately, this skeleton is asymmetrical because of these straps. So there's no mirroring the skin weights here. I don't know if it's gonna like, if it would try, you know what I mean? Like if the parts that are symmetrical would get symmetrical, but I'm pretty sure I have to do this twice. Oh well. And I should have been keyframing this. Like you should keyframe like A to T and then like a regular ROM after. But I'm not. Just gonna do it by hand. Okay, so here is like rough T. This is not like MetaHuman. This isn't like a full T pose. I think they're gonna give us like a MetaHuman T pose, but the thing is, there's a lot of different child skeletons, so they're gonna all be different. So that's probably, I don't know how that's gonna happen if it ever does. So you just gotta get good at making T's. This is not perfectly T'd, but we're not retargeting motion capture or anything like that. We're just looking at like the main problem areas. Okay, so I'm gonna save as at this point. Are you done in Painter? I am for now. If I was gonna go back into Substance Painter at this point, I would also go back into ZBrush, right? Like, I'll put the skeleton back on, or I'll put the textures on in a bit. But at this point, to go further with this would be to like this piece, for instance. I would go higher poly on the base mesh too. But I would come in, add stitches like this, add stitches here, and then dam standard on the outside to give it like a bit of ribbing, and then kind of like lightly sculpt in compression folds, as this is like leather kind of like wrapping around. And then once you sculpt that kind of detail in it, then this texture, this smart material, all those places I pushed it in would basically get this type of leather, and the parts that were like kind of pushed out and had curve on them, this has a curvature map on it that takes parts that are like above a certain curve threshold and makes them lighter, which is how the gloves have this kind of stuff. I went really subtle on the colorization, but it's how these folds show up. We do the same thing on this. So you can't, there's not really much to do in Painter. It's pretty much doing it in the high poly, and then it bakes on, and then the material grabs onto it. And then you can take like a dam standard and do like slashes, kind of beat it up, something like that. Does it work for plot? Yeah, pretty much. But no, I mean, if I do go back, like if this all works out, I think it's going to. And I wouldn't put 2 weeks into something I felt like was going to absolutely die, but like it would be going back and doing sculpt detail to every little piece. I wanted to have stitching on this, maybe sculpt in like the kind of like Batman pec muscles that are here, stitching here, put some slashes in it. Same thing this, like this is like the super clean version, you know, put some dirt on here. I guess that would be in Substance Painter, but it would be like a whole ZBrush refinishing, which is basically like beating it up, adding detail, then reprojecting, and then maybe doing like Substance Painter dirt. You know, there's shaders where you can have dirt and it like fades up from the bottom, and put wear and tear on like certain parts where you think are going to get hit. But in the end, that stuff is very subtle, like very, 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 very subtle. Compared to like the overall thing. Yeah, I do too. I like the ZBrush phase too. But for me, it feels bad staying there too long if I don't know that it's going to turn into something usable. But we're pretty close to being usable already. Like the lower body, done. Hands, done. Which is incredible. I'm literally going to do nothing. The main issue is the clavicle and upper arms influencing the neck and influencing, obviously, this here. But that's pretty much it. It's not too bad. Okay, so let's pop into this. Don't crash. Please don't crash. It's always the plugins that crash. Okay, there it goes. We can... It doesn't really matter, but I'll pop these back up to 0.5. So now we have to do a kind of a survey of understanding what happened on the copy skin weights, and then figure out the strategy at that point. Okay, so we're going to select the upper body. It's the main issue, and we're going to initialize skinning layers. Here we go, ngSkinTools. In the flesh. How come I can't see anything? I gotta remember how this all works. So, hey, what's up, Ramiro? How's it going, man? Thanks, appreciate it. I like how the final came out. It's looking pretty cool. I was talking with Thomas, like, another, like, 2 days of, like, adding scratches and kind of refining the base meshes a little bit on some of these upper body areas would look cool. And I'll go back and do that once I feel like this is skinning fine. But luckily, the toes and feet auto-skinned themselves, and the hands, other than I kind of put the... I modeled them kind of not great. They basically auto-skin weighted themselves. Look at that. They're pretty good. That's pretty good. And this is some janky topology too. It's not great. But that worked out fine. So, I feel like I should be able to see, is it paint? There it is. Okay. So, now we get this kind of like multicolored heat map of, we don't really need this so much just yet. Because you don't need this because you have this now. So now we get this like, you know, you don't get this view in Maya normally. But from this you can kind of look that, you know, each color is a different bone. And you can start to see where there's issues, right? So the biggest obvious ones, moving from the bottom to the top, are that these are being pulled, right? And so you'd think that they'd be parented to these two chest helper bones, right? Spine 5 shoots out a pectoral muscle and kind of like, I think that's probably in the back. No, it's on the side. So this is the pec muscle, and this is the like, it's kind of like the side of your rib cage. It's not really like trying to do a muscle thing. So it's pink. They're both pink, and you can see on these ones, they're blue. So clearly they're trying to go up to most likely... Oh, we can go find it. So this is the cool thing about ngSkinTools is like it's a lot easier to find where that's happening. Another nice thing about ngSkinTools is that if you look at the bones, the ones that are gray don't have any weights. That is so helpful. I was talking to I've been talking and stalking a bunch of riggers. There's the rigging industry is not large. I'll just say that much. It's not a large industry of people who do this stuff. And basically, no one uses the stock Maya skinning tools. It's like, at the minimum, you use this, and there's even more, because skinning's hard, you know. But it's all about, like, being able to visualize it and then having the right tool to fix it. What's up, Brian? So I am not counting myself as part of that industry. I've just been watching, and it's this. And this thing is like a lifesaver. So what we can kind of do... No, can you hold control? Okay. There's something, I forget what it is, but there's a way to select that bone using this tool. And then it shows you. But I know where this is. This is the left hand. So we're going to go, and then you can make like, you can do layers, which is cool, which I'm not going to do. But if you're skinning this from scratch, like imagine skinning this whole body from like scratch without the copy skin weights. You have layers. You can actually like organize them and do it like non-destructively, which is incredible. And then you can do like sorted lists of the bones, so you don't have to look at the whole ass hierarchy the whole time, which is like amazing too. So we are on, here's clavicle. So I want to switch this to, like, we're just looking, right? We want to look at current influences. This is what Maya will normally show you, and it's like, okay, so what's gray? Like, what the hell does gray mean? I don't know. And what does this gray mean? It's not that helpful. This one is helpful. This is current influences colored. Again, stock Maya, you can't do this. So like when you look at this one, it's like, oh, this is like, where does it fall off? Like, well, now that you saw the blue one, like you don't even like think about this one, or I don't. But when you make like the 10% to 5% or like 0 to 5 or 0 to 10% blue, now you notice that like, oh, this clavicle is grabbing like all this shit. So in stock Maya, you just don't have this information, and so it's just pain. You know, I mean, there's multiple reasons this is painful, but like that's the main one. So you really have no idea. So, looking at this, we have clavicle obviously focused up here. We're gonna have to do an awful lot. Okay, so here's the thing: clavicle shouldn't really. I wish if we had copy skin weights from the old MetaHuman one. This section would be done, minus unweighting the head and maybe smoothing out like these 3 bones. But now I have to do, this is way more manual skinning than I normally have to do. As we move down, upper arm, which accepts all the animation, has no skin weights. It's gray. Lower arm, also no skin weights at all. Lower arm corrective, also no skin weights, only it's child bones. But we have to actually start moving towards the, so this is like your, is that the elbow? I can't tell. Lower arm inner, lower arm outer. Outer is the elbow. This is the elbow. Forearm, forward, hand. Hand's complicated. I'm really glad that came out like that. I don't want to have to paint that. I don't have to paint anything. Index fingers, blah, 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 all the fingers. So we need to work our way back down here, and they're lower in the list. I don't remember how to make lists, how to like make your own custom thing. I think you can do like, there's like, depending on how you named it, you can do like *_L, and you can name sort it down. I don't know if you can like bookmark them, whatever, but anyway. Okay, so now we're going to start to get up to the upper arm. Yeah, so we have upper arm here. So upper arm twist, apparently nothing. That bone's there for fun. Or maybe it's rigging or something. The finger bones are insane. There's even more bones than I thought were in there. There's like half finger bones, whatever that means. Okay, so here's the big one. Twist corrective. Upper arm twist corrective 1 is like the whole arm. It's like what you would think on a normal skeleton upper arm would be doing. This one's doing it, and it's in the middle, which is kind of cool. Actually, it's in the third. I take it back. This is the upper arm bone, and then there's this corrective, and then another one. Wait a minute. Maybe there's 2 in there. Anyway, there's one in here that's doing nothing, but this is like everything. Like this is like the thigh corrective. It's like this bone does everything. Same thing is that bone right there. So this bone should have nothing to do with this. So we could basically select these. We could hammer them. There's that. But even beyond that, pretty much in no world should this be affected at this amount of weight. I think yellow is close to 100. It's pretty high. So like this entire row here and these, we could select them and then off of this joint, flood it to 0. Or maybe like 5% or something like that. Moving on to tricep, it's back here. Again, 0 weighting on this. So we're gonna flood those out in a second. Upper arm bicep. So this is like this bone actually flexes like a bicep when the elbow comes in. It looks like it's still weighting it, right? There's like 5%, like a little bit of weighting, all flooded to 0. Twist corrective again. Nothing up here should touch this down there. So we're gonna flood those all out. This is the corrective like root of this thing, but it has no weights. Then we have upper arm back. Again, not now. Once we hammer, we could hammer. I'm not gonna hammer it. I'm gonna flood them out and then hammer. Once we do that though, then not this. This should be at 0, or maybe blue like this. But now like this type of area is affecting this, but this would have been pushed back down. So there's an order to the flooding, kind of. There's an order if you consider that we're going to eventually hammer weights, which is going to like average all the verts around it. We want to flood all the ones to 0 that we know we don't want, but then this one should affect it, especially this area here. It's like the back, right? So you kind of want like this to all move together. So this will have been flooded back down by this point. Going to the upper arm forward. We're not looking at this yet. This is going to be a whole thing. These will have been flooded down, and this stuff could definitely be affecting these and even the top of this, because like you wanted to move it all together smoothly until maybe I come up with a slightly different strategy of the chest, right? We're going to come down to it like eventually where it's like most likely like this. I mean, this is so low poly, but it's kind of like this pec bone should probably take a huge amount of control. It's probably what's like yellow here. It's probably like mostly this. And then like this upper part starts to be taking control of, again, of the opposite bone over there. So they're not symmetrical. So this is, you have to do it twice. Upper arm, inner L, I guess, is the armpit. So this obviously takes a huge amount of weight from this. Like this should be like 100% controlling this row pretty much, right? Like it's like right in, this is the armpit of the vest. So that should take complete control. This should have no weighting on it, and it doesn't. We're going to do this. This weighting is going to be completely different too. But then clavicle L, this is like the top. It's kind of like the top of your shoulder, like trap muscle. And then scapula is like that big flat bone on your back here. So it's like the back, like the middle back part, the chunky, meaty part of your back is this one. And then we switch to the other side. So there's a lot of bones here. It's pretty much this. It's all of these bones minus the ones that are gray. So when I look at this, we might be able to name sort it and say like upper arm, like this. So we say upper arm underscore star underscore L. So that will only show me the bones in this list, pretty much that we just said. And we lost clavicles. But instead of sorting through this entire massive hierarchy, and we could I wonder if you can sort by like don't show uninfluenced ones. But now we know it's like we're kind of just going to go through this list of bones, and that's the dance. So ngSkinTools, that just makes this whole thing like way more palatable from a beginning point of view. So going back into select mode, which drops us out of this, we're going to go get our problem verts selected, which are clearly these. You could hammer at this point too, but I'm going to hammer at the end, because once you hammer it, you kind of, I want to wait, basically. I want like the max. Hey, what? Okay, there we go. I want to do like max amount of work. So when it comes to picking these rows, this was model, like all of this I tried to model in quads, and oh my god. So you kind of need to be able to look at the geometry from like a modeling point of view and kind of know what you wanted it to look like. And so if it's like a mess of like geometry, when you're rigging it, you're like, what should it look like when the arm is up? If it's a disaster, like it came straight out of Marvelous Designer or ZBrush, it's like you don't really know. You're kind of guessing. So those look like the actual huge problem verts selected there. You could hammer weight, 100% could hammer these at this point, which I think there's a hammer. Well, in the default ones, there's a hammer tool. They have smooth. People really like this tool for I think it's this. I know someone said that they use this entirely for smoothing. That's really for skinning from scratch, though. We're not really in a place where I'm gonna click that button. But that's when you're like 100, 100, 100, and then you grab them all, you say smooth, and it makes like these nice gradients, like what you kind of saw on the wrist. But what I am going to do is replace with 0. So turn. Oh, is it up? I can't remember how this works. So you hit paint. I can't remember this. Intensity 1. Is intensity what we're thinking about? If I bring this down and we say apply. Okay. So we just took all the, I hope, we just took all the influence from upper arm twist corrective and we made it 0. So it hasn't completely flooded out, but these are black now. Then we go to upper arm tricep, also flood to 0. Upper arm bicep, that's taken a lot, also flood to 0. So someone's really grabbing this. I'm assuming it's that bone. There she is. Yeah. So this is bright green. Flood to 0. Okay, still there. Damn. What is holding this thing? I don't want to flood that one to 0 yet. These are gonna need to get hammered, man. And that one I thought was fine, and that's already 0. Man, so those are really being grabbed by something. What is it? What's pulling these up like that? I was expecting that set of floods to this back down. I'm gonna hammer these, but they must be very low. They're like so much lower than I thought they were. I mean, this one could use a little bit, but I flooded them completely out. Now I'm thinking I might have like filtered too many out. I thought these two were gonna completely fix that, but we're gonna clearly have to hammer them. That got flooded to 0, I think. Upper arm, I flooded that to 0. Upper arm. I mean, that one I don't want to flood because I do want it to have like a little bit of the subtleness. Oh, is it this one? Nah, what's pulling them so hard that... Okay, so the next way to approach this, we'll come back. I don't think I lose any... whatever, I'll come back to it. So the next way to approach this is to say, these are selected and we go to the component editor, which that's not working for some reason. Oh, I lost the selections? There they are. So you need full Maya for the component editor, which is one of the main reasons I switched. We want to go to... Is it this? Polygons? I forget how this works. We have these verts selected, and there should be in here somewhere where it says like these like these two, for instance. It should say where they're weighted to, what bone. I thought that was this, no? I need to go watch a tutorial again, but there's a way to find this. What? Isn't it component editor? Hold on. These two. Am I in vertex mode? Anyway, there's a way to grab these verts and it'll be like, oh, 10% to this bone, 10% to this bone. So you can kind of look, I'm like, who's screwing this thing up before I hammer it down? Is it load components? I don't know how to use this tool apparently. I thought it was just one of these things. Wait, I see two vertices selected. Load components? How does this work? I have to watch a tutorial. Okay, I guess I don't know how this works. I thought... I see a bone. So I think I screwed these up. I might have to start over again. I think it was this. And it's saying that only... That's a blend shape. Blend shape deformers? It's not a blend shape. It's a smooth skin. I don't know. The load component's not working. But there's a way to say... This spreadsheet basically says, oh, this vert, it's on this bone. But I only see this. So I might have blasted some stuff up by accident. Well, I'm going to hammer these. Let's see how that goes. Let's see. Yeah, well, that had to happen. But I'm still kind of concerned that I wasn't able to component view or whatever. But maybe it needs to be like in a certain mode. I don't fucking know. I'll have to look it up. Hammer them shits down. Okay. Well, there's that. Let's see. So there's going to be more issues like this. So I'm going to start. I could just start hammering at this point, but I wanted to know beforehand like what was going on in there. So these are just hammering. In the default skin tools, you just, they're like, it's like a button you can use as well. But just kind of grabbing the ones that look like they're kind of stretched in a weird way and pushing them back in like that. That's a start. Let's see. So this is bad, how this is like kind of jagged. Not saying that that's that much better. Oh, there's an inner edge. So this is where like all the extra like fun geometry you stick in your model, it's like you're paying for it right here, right about now. Is this gonna resolve? Maybe. So this is also kind of like a smooth in a way, but it's kind of order dependent. So now I'm a little concerned, but I'm just kind of hammering at this point and see how far I can get with this. So I have not a ton of faith I'm going to resolve that well, but we'll see. Okay, so it's a little bit jagged. So let's go back into ngSkinTools. Got to click paint to visualize. Oh, and I lost my thing. So I like upper arm star underscore L. Should select most of my upper arm bones. So let's go take like a walk through the joints kind of in this area. You know what we're missing is this chest bone. Okay, well let's see how this is looking. So okay. So I'm gonna go back and we're gonna hammer out of the gate. This can't be black. Like a little bit makes sense. So that was not a great approach. That can't be black on corrective. It's too close to be purely black. It needs to be blue like that. And I'm not gonna attempt to paint it back. I didn't find the problem bone, but this weighting is no good. This is no good. So I got to go like way back. I don't know if I can undo all the way, but let's see how far back we go. I did a lot of what's it called? A lot of hammering. I don't know how far back this is gonna go. Probably not enough. Probably should have saved as at some point. Oh well. All we did so far was I haven't done any corrections actually. Got a lot of undos out here. I feel like here we've kind of stopped. I don't know. We'll go look at the floods again. Oh no, there they go. There they go. I think this is that first time I'm selecting them right there. Okay, so let's go see if that was a lot of undos. Damn. Okay, it's got a lot of. I didn't realize the history was that deep. You could probably change that setting too. Okay, let's go look and so okay, so this is I'm pretty sure this is back to where we started. So that was too heavy-handed. These should have some subtle influence. We're gonna just hammer them out of the gate. That's actually what we're gonna do. This is gonna like the skinning kind of starts to branch for me. I feel like we're gonna have a bunch. We're doing mostly upper body and like armpit area. Luckily, we don't have to deal with the crotch because I skin tighted it and it's symmetrical. So that's nice. So let's hammer out of the gate, and I'm gonna not filter. I need to know what this bone is, and there's a hotkey to like select that bone. I don't remember what it is though. Versus I'm gonna have to like go through here. But let's hop back out in. No. Let's just hammer these right out of the gate. Have I put hammer up here? What does hammer look like? Hammer. There it is. HSW. Yeah, that one. Boom. It would be interesting to see what they are now, but I'm just gonna hammer the same row and then come back in. I didn't see what bone is doing this huge stretch. Like, it's kind of weird. I wasn't able to find it, but we'll just hammer it back in, and then I'm gonna go look at it again. This is a weird, well, I guess it's because it's stretched so far. I was like, that's a very odd looking thing. These two. Okay, so we just hammer these. So before we go back into, I mean, I don't like this. This means it's like being pulled. This one's being pulled more. But let's go back into paint mode. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's see. Can I smooth that? So okay. So we need to, let's think about this. So I'm looking at upper arm twist corrective, which is, I think it's this bone right here. And because it got pulled out so, oh, you know what it is in A pose, they're so close together. That's what it is. This is just physically close to it here. I'm going to start, like, what is this paint value? This blue one. Okay, we're going to start painting. I'm going to probably screw this up. Oh no, they're selected, so that's good. So let's see. So I'm going to do replace, surface, intensity, brush radius, influences, limit. Oh, it is kind of mirrored, but we'll see. Let's try 0.5, see what this does. Oh wow, okay, so that's way too much. Wait, how come that didn't undo that? Go back. Oh no. So maybe you can't undo through this tool. That's interesting. I can start a new layer, but I don't know. Let's go to 0.26, and I think you only paint on the ones that are selected. Okay, so 0.26 is green. 0.15 is light blue. Man, what's this dark blue? It must be like really low. Wow, it's really, really low. So I undid the hammering, unfortunately. So let's re-hammer these. Oh, did I miss one? I know what happens. I tried to undo this tool, but you can't undo the brush strokes in this tool. Okay, so now they're selected again. Let's go back into paint. You can't unpaint. You can't undo in here. Okay, that's a problem. So what is 0? 0 is black, right? But it's still up there. I don't know what's pulling this. I wish I could like sample this color. So this dark blue is like really low. And when I do this, it pulls it back up so much. I mean, clearly this upper arm twist is the main problem with this. So 0.01, so are we talking about 0.005 is still pulling it out. I'm kind of at a loss with this one. And when I hammer it, it's still blue. This is not how I expected this to go. But, interesting. I'm going to take this now. Can I ISO this? I don't know how ISO works against when you're in skin painting. I'm kind of worried. I'm going to try it. We'll see. Pretty much this entire thing should have no weighting on that bone, and it's bright yellow because we skinned it with the arm down. So it's right next to it, so it's trying to. Okay, so now we're select. Oh, it drops you out of paint. Okay, I see. So now we're in paint of this, just the belt basically, and like this is a 0, so we could flood, but I'm gonna paint it. like, this shouldn't be up here, and this shouldn't really affect this either. That's because of the proximity of the skinning. Oh, what the fuck? Really? That's not at all what I thought was going to happen. How come this jumps back up? So this means, okay, so this means that another joint is as equally trying to pull it out, and it must be this one here. That's unfortunate. Let's go find it though. So it's going to be like this one probably. I mean, at this point we're talking about like flooding. Can I hammer? Let's just keep going down. Again, like this bone should have basically nothing to do with that. So I'm gonna flood these out. Oh my god. Hammer them back. This, okay, this is a ton of influence from this one. If I do this, it's gonna still take it back like that. Jeez. Hammer it again. Okay, so this all stems from the fact that like this arm was down, and so they're just really close to each other and it screws things up. This is kind of fine. That one, gonna rehammer that piece down. Take it off of that one, but hammer it back into place. So this means that they're going to another bone is what's happening. These need to be hammered too in there, but like the row is mostly staying together. This one, these are fine. That's fine. If anything, I want this to be green. So who is this bone? This is the armpit bone. This should be owning this stuff pretty hard. And this being blue, I buy it. And blue is like 0.0001 or something crazy like that. Okay, so this one here needs more from the vest area is what I'm going to attempt next. I'm going to try to make this green, like this is green. Like this should be green right in there. I forget what value green is. I'm going to go find out. So I'm going to go solo on this gem just for purely selecting the verts on it. And it's symmetrical probably, but I'm just going to not worry about that for now. And maybe you can mirror skin weights on just this. I don't think you can because it's all one skeletal mesh, but hammer skin weights, if you do it to like areas that are already normal, isn't usually a problem. It's like, okay, like nothing really changes because it kind of like averages it and it's like, yeah, everything's kind of normal. Like if I average skin, I think if I hammer skin weights, like the whole thing, it's like, I mean, up here obviously is a problem, but like, I think it's kind of okay to do that. So I'm going to take from here to about there and then kind of descending back these ones and probably also the inner versions. Nope, that selected the whole mesh. I'll go get them by hand. So this is like the trouble row right there. And so for me, this thing wants to be weighted, whatever green is, to upper arm inner, which is the armpit bone, pretty much. Green. So I'm sure this is going to get screwed up, but surface, replace, add. Add's pretty interesting, actually. Let's try adding 0.1 to these. 0.1. Okay, that's not at all what I thought was going to happen. Weird. Okay, hammering back. I'm going to add 0.1 again. They're still not green. This is probably not the approach for this, but I'm messing around. 0.1 again. Is this really adding it? They're still blue. Is that add actually working? Oh, and these ones didn't get grabbed when I hammered it. Okay, so that's a little bit. I'm going to do a replace instead. I want to, oh no, I have it on replace. I thought I was adding. I keep doing the same thing over and over again. Great. Okay, that 0.2 is green, pretty much. So we hammer it back. So maybe 0.25. I could see that being like a cutoff point where it's like, okay, so that's even, okay, so green is 0.25, right? So this part here is kind of green. Can I keep hammering these or no? I want this one back, which means that it has too many weights on it. This is toughie. This is tougher than I thought it was going to be. But anyway, I'm starting to get used to like the layout of like what bones to expect are doing what. I mean, it's something. I wish I could see the component editor. I need to look that up. But given that ring, I mean, definitely they should be mostly owned here. That's a 0.25. So I wonder who else is talking to that ring. So we'll go find out here. Upper arm. Yeah, I kept replacing it over and over again. So that one has influence over it. That's fine. Wait, can I see x-ray bones again? What happened? X-ray joints. What happened to my x-ray joints? I can't see the skeleton. This should be 0. So I'm going to flood this to 0. So weird that happens. It's supposed to be 0, so I don't understand why this just did that. But upper arm here, also flood this to 0. And then hammer it. I don't understand. So like that too, that's not working the way I thought it would, but this is like a big ass argument for me to do everything in T-pose, because like look how it's like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason everyone does A-pose, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh, okay, so this stuff all had like a ton of influence down here. We could be flooding this point at this point. There's something in there. I'm just messing at this point. I don't know. I'm just like doing what I think like looks intuitive. This wants to be like that. This also reasonable. This is like who should be running the show. Is this bone? Like basically no influence in there. I mean, we don't want to unflood that stuff. And then we go into clavicles, and then we go over. So those are like the bones that are in that area. So I mean, that's not great, but let's kind of see how this thing moves at this point. What do you mean ISO? It's obviously not like clean, so something to obviously still work to do. But that was just kind of like my first crack at trying to do this. Let's take upper arm. You should have like a keyframe. You have like a keyframe sequence or something, so it just does this for you. But I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. So look how far this strap got pulled out. This strap needs to be completely unweighted from the arms again, so we'll go work on that. But if we look at the vest, I see what's happening. Just this has its own solve, but the armpit area, right? There's an armpit bone. It's this one, and then there's like supporting bones from it. I'm almost of the mindset. This never happens. The shoulder it moves in a different way. One of the things we're not watching is, so I go like this. I'm almost positive when the arm goes up like this bone counter animates down. So it's hard to tell exactly how the skinning is going, because I almost guarantee you this helper bone comes down here. So it's like getting all pulled out and making like a wing, but I bet you this pulls down because it's a corrective. But something I'm noticing next, I'm gonna just leave this for now. I have one idea on how to do that from scratch almost, but now I want to look at this belt, right? I don't want it to pull away, which is why you like end up like projecting them as textures onto the chest, because then you don't have to deal with this. But my take is that they should only be weighted to the chest bones and a little tiny bit this, and none of whatever this is in here. So I'm going to come grab this thing and kind of walk through the bones again. I think I already kind of did this, but let's grab this thing. Jump into ISO for it, and it's like around like here. Which is, again, less polys, less problems. If you imagine, if it's high poly, it's like, it's harder to do everything, basically. So there's a tiny bit of a reason why I did this belt like so incredibly low poly for rigging. Okay, so back up at a ISO. That's about reasonable. But really, we only care about this section, but it's like a span or two past it. That one's perfect. We don't kind of want to mess with that too much. Okay, you can't. That's not how you deselect. Okay, so these ones, yeah. So back into paint. We want to go back through this upper arm hierarchy and figure out who's messing this thing up, basically. Like, who's pulling this so far out. So that is the upper arm twist corrective. I'm going to flood to 0, which is this. I'm going to just start flooding. Then hammer. So clearly someone else is trying to grab it right now. Flood. So weird that that's happening. I feel like I'm not doing this right. That when that floods, it goes out again. I don't know. I guess it's like someone else is still pulling it. Okay, so here we. Ooh, no, that one's okay. This is this part. I'm okay with this. This means it's gonna kind of like come along with the vest. This is the front here. This is a little bit much. Oh, actually, if we look at it now, look, it's not pulled away from the body, right? Not as much, I don't think. So I think we kind of already did it. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I think we fixed it. I fixed it. Like it's not ripped away from the body. So now, nope. Right, so now the belt is here. It's not, it's funny, but it's not like completely ripped away. So the next thing, before we deal with this is going to be its own project. It's like, it's hard to tell because this isn't correcting, but this is an edge loop. But unlike like a game's, like a normal game skeleton, you'd be rigging this loop probably like, I don't know, 50% this arm, upper arm, and 50% like your clavicle, which is just straight. In this case, we have something more complicated where this ring here, it's being skinned like it's muscle, but it wants to not be, it wants to be more like rigid. So it's hard to like math out exactly how that should be, but it's clearly like this part should be pretty evenly this underbone here. But then as you get up here, it's kind of like this ring should be that one. And then kind of, again, this ring, as we project kind of like a pie shape, this ring should also be part of this one. And does anyone else play a part in that? So I see like basically 3 bones. Oh, no, there's this bone too. There's 1, 2, there's 4 bones controlling like this. And like for like muscles, that probably deforms great. But for something that should basically just try to stay a ring, it's like, how am I supposed to weight that, like to make that happen? Like mathematically, like we could go through and be like, this ring, you know, flood 0.25 for this one, 2.5 this one, 2.5 that one, 2.5 that one. This ring, 0.5 this one, 0.5 that one. But it's like, but I don't know like what that math like should look like. Because it was easier when it was just like, hey, it's all just one bone, and then you flood 100 and smooth out. But with these corrective bones in the mix, it's like it's way more complicated than that. To try to like kind of do it parametrically or programmatically. But I would call that the beginning of a solve for the armpit, right? So like clearly like a couple of these are like, I need to kind of like smooth out the weights, but it's this dance of like, you know what? I'm not even looking at like this bone that much. Like what bone is this? This is latissimus. Of course, yeah, okay. So I kind of want to go see what that bone's doing. So that's LAT. So I can do like, hey, look at you. Okay, so let's look at these things. What the hell? So why did it just do that? What is this? How come it just like, oh, I did apply. Can I undo this? You like can't undo this. So that's a bit scary. So I just 100% weighted this stuff back to that lat bone. And I think that I haven't been looking at this bone, and it's clearly right in like the area where we're in. And I bet you it's causing a lot of problems. And I just completely fucked this thing, but that's a lesson. I 100 weighted it back to that lat bone. I'm just gonna hammer them back. Oh, and I'm missing these two. Okay, I hit apply when I meant to hit paint, so I'm new. There it is. Okay. Here's the issue. I was like, oh, it's all upper arm now, and there's like this gigantic bone right here. Okay, so it's the lat bone, whatever this is, the armpit bone, and this bone. So there's four bones kind of like rocking this area. And as far as deformation of the armpit, it's clearly this bone and these two. These two need like split custody of kind of this area. And they can't be black here. So that's what's causing all of this. And the flooding is making things kind of insane in here. So I would say green is 0.25. So I'm going to replace 0.25 back for the latissimus bone here over these ones like that. Ooh, that did it. Same here. Maybe even more. So let's get 0.4 for the belt. Am I even selecting the belt? I can't tell who selected. Oh, it's just the problem areas. So what's okay, so 0.5 is starting to be yellow. That fixes a lot already. So it's latissimus and it's this elbow, this armpit bone. Under here, need to have like pretty even control of this. Hammering should kind of smooth this out a little bit after. It didn't. Never mind. We're at maxed hammer at this point. Okay, so I was completely ignoring that bone in this this dance. Most skeletons don't have a latissimus bone. Okay, that's not bad. There's it can be obviously done nicer, but let's just give this a peek now. I'm gonna save, I guess. Upper, pretty good. Just here, not this. Not bad. Even with that like really nasty quick paint job, it's about evening out the distribution between these two bones. And I was forgetting this bone. So it's between these two, the underarm, one of the hardest areas to get. It's 100% a dance of these two. And this front one really is like frontal. It probably shouldn't even come back there at all. So it's these two bones here. This is the whole party. And even just giving this 0.25 and this 0.25, and then like the hard area was 0.5, which is starting to be yellow. That's pretty good. Like if I'm moving quick, it's like we're okay, right? Nothing too crazy going on in there. So that's kind of the armpit. So it's really these two bones and then completely unweighting it, because when you skin it, it's like here. So this bone was grabbing this but like all this stuff was like, you know, they shouldn't even talk to each other, because you want to kind of skin it out here. So it's basically about like taking this area, unskinning it from these arm bones, and then redistributing it to these two. I think is the most part. I don't know if I can mirror skin weights. What happens if I hit mirror skin weights right now? I don't know. I'll try it. I'll do this whole thing from scratch again, having known how to do this a little better. Skin, mirror. Where's the mirror one? Mirror skin weights. Across the YZ axis, yeah, exactly. Positive to negative, yes. Closest point, now that's gonna wreck this probably. Normalize, you probably, this is probably not what we want. It's probably gonna mess up this, but maybe it'll fix that. Let's see what happens. No. Okay, so it's completely asymmetrical, so I'm gonna undo that. It's asymmetrical, so basically like it's looking at like vert. I would assume it said closest point, but I'm assuming it's looking at like vert numbers. So it's like this is vert like 600. Vert 600 on this side, because of this crisscross and these are not symmetrical, is over here. So there's no mirroring on this because I have these straps in there. But I have a better idea now on how to clean this up. I'm going to hammer this kind of like crazy section back a little bit and then try to look at the neck. Like this is obviously like way out of place. So this and this, these want to be back down. So does this one, and so does this one, probably this one. I keep hitting the wrong button. That one, these guys. Are you selected? I don't know what happened to my selections. But this row wants to be like, you know, straight across, and it's like pretty crazy. There we go. Oh, I missed one. This. And any ones that are like super, this is kind of like, I mean, it's like smoothing. It looks at the weight of all of these and it like averages it back. Probably also averaging this in some sort of weighted formula. Ooh, I don't like how that went actually, but it's like grabbing it. This is gonna be like hammer like a polygon face now. Ooh, I don't like that either. Never mind, we'll leave it. So that's starting to negotiate this, and I think the cleaner I distribute the weights, the better. I think this belt is 100% latissimus, and I'm gonna almost completely take it away from the this one here, because I mean, look where this bone is. This bone is like right there. So I'm gonna give 100% of the belt kind of to this part of the belt to the lat bone. Okay. So the next area is gonna be this shoulder plate, and I'm gonna hard bind it, and that means it's gonna clip through the head, but I'm gonna take it. That's what happens in a lot of video games too. We're gonna take this thing, and we're gonna 100% rig it to the clavicle. Not these bones, but like the actual clavicle. And Jeremiah from Epic said I should probably put it on like a helper bone, but I'm not like doing what's it called? I don't want to add bones yet to this skeleton. I want to just do it to this one, and then I'll start to add bones. If you want, like if I do the necklace, I have to start adding bones to the skeleton, stuff like that. Any cloth stuff that we're gonna animate with bones, it's all, you gotta add skeleton. You gotta add bones on top of it. So I'm gonna go find the clavicle L. It's gotta be this one. Go to paint. Clavicle L does have a bit of weight on it. And yeah, I'm gonna basically 100% weight this to the clavicle. So we're gonna go all the way up and apply. So white. Because we had like I think it's like generally 4 bones are always influencing a vert, roughly. 0.25, as in what most of them are, is green, and 0.5 is yellow, and you almost never see anything above that. So I don't know what 0.75 looks like. Let me flood 0.75. Like, what color is that? Orange. Yeah, like there's very little orange. What's 0.6? I see. It would be nice to have the spectrum down here so I could know, but I'm kind of memorizing it now. 1 being white. So it's basically black. Black is 0, white is 1, and in between it goes from blue to green to yellow to orange to white. Let me hop in Photoshop real quick. Is that open still? It's not. I don't know who made that gradient. Maybe it's an option in Maya. Maybe it's an option in ngSkinTools. I'm just going to draw that back out real quick. Making like an ngSkinTools guide for myself. This one. Okay, gradient tool. Yeah, okay. So it is. Oh, we can make a custom like right here. It is what? This. It's white, black to white, and then in the middle was green, I think. And then in the middle of this was orange. There's pure ways to get these colors, but I'm just going to do it this way. Here was blue, like a dark blue, like that. So this is, from my understanding, the weight color spectrum in ngSkinTools. Black to blue to green to orange to white, like that. Looks like this. What? Oh, there was a mask. I see. Goodbye, mask. This is the ngSkinTools weighting. What's up, Peter? I'm learning a bunch of things all at once and trying to make it work. Actually, I have my Wacom tablet. No, I can draw this. Hey. I'm just go tweet this so I can save it. That's right. Twitter's like my free Google Drive. I just go there to find my images later. So this is going to be, where's my Wacom tablet? What's this? What's up with my Wacom tablet? Oh, never mind, I see it, I got it. I see. 0. No, we wouldn't. Do we want to scale it to, how do they do it? It's probably 1, right? It's normalized over 1, yeah. It's not, they don't go to like 100. 1. Here we're looking at like 0.5. Bright blue is 0.25, and bright orange is 0.75-ish. And then yellow, orange moving into white, green. And so like I feel like the majority of your mesh you're gonna see is like here. Like it's a lot of this range. So when you're looking at like ngSkinTools weightings on the MetaHuman, because there's 4 bones allowed to influence each vertex, you know, that's 0.25. That's a lot of blue. A lot of blue stuff. And then as you get a little bit heavier, it's like, you know, confident, like one bone confidently holding an area is like 0.5. And then if it's like really crazy, you're up here, and it's almost never 1. 1 is basically your hard binding, your parenting at that point, which is what I'm doing to this one at this point. Learning so much in JS? Nice, nice. I'm learning too. I am learning too. So we have a bit of a disaster here from clavicle. I don't want clavicle really to touch any of this stuff. So this clavicle bone's reaching a little far. But we'll come mess with that in a second. So let's see here. So we basically parented this to the clavicle bone. And really I should probably parent it to like a helper bone that can be counter animated in control rig in a post-process blueprint. But I don't want to do that today. That's a later project. Okay, so this of course being the issue. That's kind of how I like it. Not looking at this. We haven't unweighted that stuff yet. But like this moves like almost independently. And so what you do, well, let's look at clavicle movement. This is my theory on it. It is on your shoulder. So as the shoulder moves, that's what really wants to drive it. And when I retarget my mocap, I don't let this go too far. This clavicle almost never goes above this, right? Because this is like going into your neck and your head at this point. But your clavicle doesn't do that. Or at least the solver I use isn't going to allow this to go. This is neutral. This is like up and towards T. And even when my hands go above my head, it's like kind of like here maybe. So it really does belong to the shoulder joint, to the clavicle. But what you would then do, or I'll do eventually, is you run a post-process blueprint that says when this is here, right, like whatever range we choose, and we could really just use even one axis, we would pose drive from like maybe straight down one here, but then at this point we would have a pose driver that's based on this rotation that would then rotate this one on its own helper bone to try to stop this conflict from happening. But I would do that in post-process blueprint, just like all of the helper bones are firing in a post-process blueprint. And if you're finishing in Maya, you would do it in Maya. You would pose drive it directly here. But we're not gonna do that. Okay, so that's how I want that shoulder to be. And not looking at this, like not looking at there, it's like this is okay, you know. And the other thing we're not looking at is that when you do this, I almost guarantee you this bone comes down and this bone goes up, something like that, or in. Like this doesn't happen in Unreal Engine. Like these bones are firing their pose drivers. So we're kind of just making it so that it's like, okay, it's like reasonably skinned, and then we kind of, these helper bones kind of do a bit more. So that fixes this and this under area for the most part. Next is the, obviously, this. So because there was no mesh in the preview thing, in the preview mesh, it's taken all of these and it's skinned it to the closest bone, which is all the way over here, which is ridiculous. And what I wanted it to be is skinned to this, you know? That's what would have made sense, was to skin it to the clav helpers, which if you use a preview mesh that has a head, that's what happens. So this is kind of like the disaster so far for me with the new MetaHumans. Feet were fine, hands completely fine. I just kind of skin them, or I meshed them kind of odd. But then this is like an absolute disaster. Like and we'll see how long it takes me to fix it, if I can fix it at all. And the problem will be that if I don't skin it right, the MetaHuman skirt neck is going to keep popping out. Is what it's going to mostly look like, and just not move correctly. But that's like the main artifact you'll see, is like the skin of the neck skirt will stick out. Yeah. So I almost wish that I could. Yeah, I want the head back. I really do. But the heads are different sizes. So is that why they took them out? I'm not sure. So now we're moving on to the clav neck area. And because it's asymmetrical, I have to do the same thing to the other side, but that gives me an opportunity to try to skin this better, because I had completely ignored the latissimus bone for the skinning, so that's not good. So I'm going to hop in here. We're going to hide this so I can see what's going on, and just take like an assessment of who owns what, pretty much. So let's just drop out the list. No, not apply. Paint. And oh no, it brought it back. I can't. The shoulder pads don't really have to be part of the skeletal mesh, because they're hard bound. But actually, well, yeah. So I could pull these off, because it's going to be really hard to weight this area when this shoulder thing keeps popping back up. Because when you switch to paint, it comes back in. So, hope I can undo that. What did I just do? What is this? Oh my god, did I just like delete everything? What is this? What happened? What's this? What the fuck? Oh my god. I just broke things somehow. I saved as. Okay, so this got like pretty jacked. Well, that's why I'm just gonna get out of here. No savey. See if I can reload it back. I mean, I'll reskin this thing from scratch again. This is still just like a learning situation. Careful with the hotkeys, because yeah, dangerous. So, let me reset the skeleton, and I'm gonna strip out the shoulder pads to be their own skeletal mesh. I don't know how cleanly that's. I don't know if you can do that, actually. I think if you do that, it's going to change the vertex order, thus nullifying the skinning, I'd assume. But I'll do it from scratch, anyway, because there's no way I'm going to skin this with these shoulder pads there, so that's something to consider. You can't have these on there. I might pull these off, too. Okay, well, okay, a misstep in the skinning strategy just overall. So if this wrecks it, I'm going to do it again. But these got to go. This has to come off, this comes off. This comes off, and this comes off. These have to be separate when I skin this, because I can't see the mesh under it. Oops. No. History, transform, yeah. So they probably lost their weighting, and oh, they're all in like full separates. Oh yeah, there's like almost no way that this weighting survived. So we'll just recombine these. History, these are MHW shoulder armor. These will be recombined MHW upper arm armor. And I'm pretty sure we lost our history on this thing, because we get to reskin it, but it's okay. It's kind of awful anyway. This, go away. MHW upper body. So pretty much certain at this point that stuff doesn't work anymore, especially as I just crushed the history on it. Yeah, okay. We get to do it again. That's fine though. So I need to be able to, or is there a way? I don't know. I want them off anyway. Whatever. So these are getting hard bound and post process blueprinted anyway. This is the idea. So basically those get hard bound to the clavs, and those get hard bound to the upper arm. So the soft skinning is going to happen here, and that'll be hard skinning later which happens in Unreal Engine. I mean, or we pose drive it. I don't want to make pose driver assets though. I'd rather just do it in a control rig. So this is really the soft stuff. So once again, here we're gonna skin it to the, what's this? Oh, those are hidden. Yeah, fine. We're gonna skin this to upper body. Skin. I'm pretty sure the settings I had are fine. Not that it super matters. As long as it's on there. Okay. Even different issues. Different issues considering that the shoulder pads are not there. It'll be interesting how this weighting goes actually. And so we'll take a quick semi-helpful pretty helpful copy weights, but again, if we look at like how close this and this are to here, it's why this ends up owning that ring, but we need to completely unweight it and then give it back to Latissimus is what's going to happen. So I'm going to go from LOD lot 0, which is the big MetaHuman dude. And we're going to give these weights, we're going to project the weights to the upper body. This is the order. Skin, copy, just to make sure. Closest, 1-to-1, copy. Okay, so we have to do this again. And it's not symmetrical, so we got to do it lots of times. Clavicles. So, same issues as before, but I have a better idea on how to do this now. Okay. You know, this all got weighted fine, but I'll still push it back towards T. It's fine. And as long as I'm pretty sure all the fingers are fine because the weighting happened fine. So now ngSkinTools come back. So we're going to initialize the skinning layers. This is a new mesh completely. As we walk down the bone list, let's find lat. I don't know where that is. Oh, it's off of spine 4. Okay, fine, I can find it. Switching to paint. Spine 4. Oh, I lied. I thought it was gonna be right under here. All the hands. I need to find like a cute way of doing selection masks for this. I don't know this tool. I'm pretty sure there's masks. Like you can make like custom ones and recall them, but okay, so I'll just do it this way. Lat L. Okay, so we want to look at current influence under colored. Okay, that's like not working. How come all influences, current influence? There we go. Okay, it was bugged. So this lat joint needs to own like 50% of this row, and it doesn't. And that's the main problem. And somehow this lat bone is up here. And this is because of the head. There's no head and neck. So the copy skin weights is like kind of a disaster up here. Like it's still going to be better than doing it from scratch. And the arms and the hands are perfect. But we need a head. I need a head back on this. And I don't know if you can like take the head and put it back on and the weights stay. I don't think that's a thing. I feel like that doesn't work, but I need a head. If this had a head, this would be like done. It would be like so close. Like we just have to do a little bit of this, but this is like even worse. This all the way up here. I don't know. This thing not being here is a full tragedy. It is forcing me to learn this though. So. Different strat. Let's try this. I want to hammer last. Really. I want to see if I can get this just through weighting. So the problem verts, instead of hammering them back in kind of blindly, I know it's obviously this row. And the problem is it's going to the upper arm corrective. So I am going to add 50% to the latissimus bone and then zero it out of everything else. And 50% to this bone, whatever the hell that is. And just see 50-50. So we're going to zero it and then 50-50. Okay. So those are the problem areas. You could hammer it, but we're going to go to paint And I'm going to set weights to 0.5. We took an extra friend by accident. Hold on. Oh, can you not undo? That seems to have undone, so I don't know. Go back to selection mode. We took an extrovert somewhere. Let's do this again. Missed that one. That was working though, and that was why I like could not figure out the arm weighting, as I was forgetting this lat bone. Okay, so we have a selection. We're gonna go back. We could hit apply, but I like to see it move with the weights on it. We're gonna apply 0.5. It's already much better. And I was actually gonna zero them and then reapply. Let me try this. So what if I zero it? Okay. Wait a minute. Wait. We want to zero it off of everything. That's what I want. How do I zero this off of every bone? That's what I was doing wrong. I thought I'm weighting it per bone. How do I zero this off of everything? I want this thing to be completely gone. The way that you do that is you give it 100% to one bone. Is kind of like doing that. Well, there's flood. What's the difference between flood and set weights? I don't know. But basically, if I give this thing 100, now it's 100% owned by this. Thus, pretty much like, I mean, that's pretty bad. That's not going to work. Well, maybe. Let's find what this bone is. I forget what this underarm bone is called. I'm going to undo this. I don't think this is the move. But I want to give it 50 of this one and see what happens. Whatever this is. It's going to be one of the upper arm childs. Which one though? Oh, that's the wrong arm. Is it that one? No, it's not. It's that down one. I need to memorize what that one's called. Nope. Oh yeah, it's that one. Okay. So now I want to give those same verts that are hopefully still selected. They're just in there. Oh, this is not good. I want to give them 0.5 as well. So now basically these problem verts are co-owned 50-50 by this bone and this bone. The upper arm inner and the latissimus now. Okay. So 0.5 is too much. That's pretty interesting. Let's go slowly. 0.2. 0.2 is pretty decent. Not for these ones, but for this one's like kind of okay. It's 0.3 it. 0.3 is okay too, actually. Not these, but this row is pretty good like that. It's not bad. It's not bad. So let's take just these ones now. And I'm going to give these like 100% honestly back to this one here, I think. So what if I give this like 100? Oh, it's here. What? Oh no, it's to the lat. Oh, damn it. I don't know. Undoing is like not a thing. Or I'm afraid to undo in this program. But we're going to do latissimus L. Now I'll give it 100 to this bone. That's what I meant to do. So not quite. Can you undo? Oh, you can. Never mind. Undo works. How about 0.8? 0.7? Ooh, that's getting there. 0.6? Nope. Wrong way. 0.5? Getting worse. 0.65? 0.7? 0.8? I did one and it was bad, but like 0.9 seems like kind of fine. Say it's 0.85. I don't know if that gives it back to the other ones. .8 somewhat reasonable. I think Possibly this whole thing should just be 0.6, something like that, and then smooth it out later. But let's take a peek how that generally went. Looks okay. Upper arm L. It's okay. It's a different approach, and I never even hammered it. Like, I'll still hammer like the big areas, but just understanding like who should be owning what was the main discovery. These two bones. And it's already just a 50-50, like rip it off of this, basically, like flood it to one bone, which basically nullifies all the other weird ones, and then give it back evenly to where it should be. So that was an even faster way of getting to this point, which is not bad. Okay. So next is going to be this kind of disaster of a collar upper bone area. So we have so much mass loss here. Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, because there's no neck, there's nothing skin weighted to this upper clavicle bone here. Clavicle out. So this entire area that's normally held by this bone just collapses. It's literally like all these verts are like parented to the upper arm. That's a pretty big disaster and going to be kind of hard to weight paint. But let's see who owns these and see if I can sort that out. Because, I mean, for the time being, I'm going to have to sort this out on every mesh if we're going to skin it this way. Let's go see who owns this neck. Mostly, it's a lot of people. Oh my god. I'm going to start painting stuff out, though. Oh, no. Oh, can you select multiple bones? There's probably more to this than I understand. Actually, I'm kind of interested to just start to walking. Oh, what now? Oh, wait, that's just the mesh is just green, right? That's not weight painted. We're not even looking at that one. It's interesting it's on the sides. Spine 2. So spine 1 shouldn't be very active is what that's kind of saying to me. 3 is very active. 4, wow. Huh. Black. Oh, because I 100% weighted it to the That's interesting. So do you also then do like 0.3, 0.3, and 0.3 to this spine bone for this area? It seems like a pretty big mistake that this is black. Like nothing on this is black. So meaning that like at the lowest influence, it's at least blue. If not green. Like maybe this whole thing should be green, which is 0.5. It's pretty heavy though. I'm not sure about this. This seems wrong that this would happen. That seems like a mistake, but maybe not. Okay, clavicle. The actual clavicle bone actually has a lot going on with this, and it should, but not that much. But so clavicle has 0.5 control of like this area here, which not great. Then where it goes to the lower arm and then all the fingers, blah 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 blah, fingers. Here we go. Upper arm here, none up there. That's good. Tricep, nothing. Tricep, bicep, nothing. Oh, here we go. So this, no way. We gotta actually, this for all intents and purposes is nothing. Like we're like 0.01 or something like that. Like this is pretty low. So that's pretty low. Maybe just fully kill it though. But clearly the clavicle has the most of it. It's just in a weird way. Okay, upper arm 4, this one, no way it has this like 0.5. So this neck collapsing here is half owned by the clavicle and now half owned by this upper arm forward. There's no way. This should have no bearing over that. And upper arm out should have a little bit, but not that much. So these are the 4 bones that own it. Clavicle out, that's very odd that has like this kind of weird even control over it. Basically, this one needs to have like a big ass, like this is the one that should own it for the most part. The scapula, no way. They just way overreach because there was no mesh here to take it out. So it's just gonna suck to fix that. I mean, it's like I have to like take this area and like almost paint it, just do it from scratch almost. But that's just a huge pain in the ass. I really don't want to do that. If there was just a damn head on there, it would be done. I would just be weight painting a little bit off of the head and the neck. That would be it. But to redo that, it's like a waste of time. Like we should just copy skin weights from the head. So the question is, can I take the body and the head, recombine them, and they both keep their skin weighting, and then reproject from there? Because there's no point in doing this. Is like a waste. Like this is like completely reskinning it almost. So the bones that should be touching this are this one, like this general necky area. This one, to be honest, not any of the arm bones. Like I like, it's basically, I would rather like hard bind it on the back. For sure, a little bit of this bone here, like that. And then none of these, and then it should be pretty much owned by, like even here, I don't want this, I want this to pretty much fall off before it gets up to the neck. It's pretty much owned by like spine 5, to be like this whole trunk is spine 5 from the front and the back. Like paint like a 0.7 strip like up the middle and the back. And then this come in with like, I don't know, like a 0.5 up to the here. And what was the other one I liked? This one like 0.5 to there and then flood them all together. But then that's gonna wreck like all this other area. That's kind of like how I'd want to do it. Or we just have a damn head and neck and it would have been weighted perfectly, which is how I've rigged all my other characters. It's been fine. So I'm gonna put this back to like normal, and just look kind of carefully again at like what the big issue areas are. It's the whole fucking thing really. But definitely like this mid collapsed of this stuff. So let's go like get the easy stuff first. Can I figure out like what's going on here? Oh, it's all inverted and gross because of the collar. Oof, big oof. It's tough. This is gonna be so manual to do this. Okay, let's kill the bones for now. I'm gonna go for a selection and then try to do like that weight strategy I had. I guess it's really a lot of it's really just this. It's like whatever I feel like. No. Oh, oh my god. All of this stuff. Luckily it didn't screw up the strap, which is kind of amazing. Okay, we gotta turn off bones. It's just a pain to select this shit. First of all, just a lot of crap. Can I select through here because there's no bottom? And then just go like this, like select away all the bottom stuff. Yeah, that worked. So it's definitely this sort of zone. I don't know if I got all the inner like inside out stuff. It might be worth hammering at this point too, but I'll come start taking this out. Like maybe even hammering now. But I didn't even hammer. Like if I figure out like how it should be weighted, I don't have to hammer. Like I didn't hammer anything under here, and we will certain areas, but it mostly resolved. I'm gonna do this again. So I'm gonna take just the vest. And we're looking to solve the front shoulder quadrant area. That's mostly it. And we have to do it on both sides, but it's gonna be this here. It's basically where the clavicle bone, where this top clavicle bone would have taken control. It's just like in there. And then the whole collar is going to need like a special approach too. But I'm not even looking at the collar, to be honest, now, because I'm going to unweight the collar almost completely. So that's this entire row. It's really actually just this. It's really just these. Yeah, definitely this too. It's pretty much these, and even probably like this row needs to get weighted back to this top clavicle bone. What's up, original? And then this whole collar, I might just completely unweight it, like give it to spine 5. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with that. And then we're looking at this little quaddy patch right there. That goes back on the clavicle bone at like a 0.6 or something pretty massive. So I should be able to get this loop, even though it's like buried in there like this. And quad loops. Oh, hey, we should be able to grow selection up, but I'm gonna do it this way. And this is why we model in quads, because otherwise it's like, how are you supposed to go get that in any reasonable way? These are getting weighted to spine 5, 100%. Hard rig in the collar, and then I'll smooth rig it back to the top clavs and a little bit the neck, I think. So we're gonna just pop this thing back out by giving it back to paint spine 5 all the way up here. Never mind, no one goes to spine 5, it's spine 4. Whew. Yeah, it's such a disaster to not have the head and the neck. Such a pain in the ass, like, compared to before. I mean, that was so easy. I would give it the whole thing. I'll do the whole damn this. Boom. That thing is rigid. I'm about to do the whole jacket. To be honest, it's so broken. Like, I could take the entire top half of the vest and armhole, though there is a bit of good stuff happening. No, see, I gotta fix this black area because I fully weighted it to the arms. It's almost like the vest I have to completely reweight. Sort of. The heat mapping here worked out. Or it's not heat mapping, but like the way it did it to the pec muscles and the lats, if I go clean it up, was pretty good. I don't know about the scapulas. They look okay. But like the fact that this is blue, like this is owned over here, it just doesn't make sense. I gotta weight that back. Well, I mean, they're not designing this so that it's easy for us to weight paint it. That's not like the priority, you know? But from like a pure weight painting point of view, yeah, it would be much nicer to have it. But I'll fix it. I don't get it. This is just forcing me to learn the MetaHuman skeleton even better, because it's not only like where are the bones going, what ranges should they move in, how do you control rig them, how do you inverse control rig them, it's also how are they weight painted, and it's all the same thing. It's all rigging. I just had been able to kind of skip it. So the collar, let's just keep it rigid, like none of this funny business yet. If anything, I would have maybe like 0.25 weight this part, like a strip here to the clavicle, maybe like a little bit. I would want it to be like how the neck is, you know, that would be great to follow how the neck would do it, and then smooth it so that like as you move your clavicle up, the collar moves in like a little bit, but we don't want it to clip into the neck. So it's really based on like how the neck got rigged. But the question for Epic or whoever, actually anyone who's like really good at Maya, is can you take two skeletal meshes and combine them and keep their weighting if they're on the same skeleton? If we can do that, then this becomes easier. So that's really the bigger problem. I might tweet that in a second, but anyway, there's still value in this knowing how to do this process, because not everything's going to work with a copy skin weight anyway, though. If we can just merge a MetaHuman head back onto a body, keeping the skin weights, then we should use that. That's going to be much better. Okay, so that's spine 5. I am really tempted to give the entire upper part to spine 5, but let's keep going. Let's see what else is going. So I'm gonna go select this like problem quad patch down there, and then just do like a tour through and see like who's holding this thing. So it's this patch is what I was noticing. It's right here. It's not even. It actually is. It is this too, which is gonna mean it's this. So we kind of have to sort out this like upper. It's honestly where the clavicle bone is, because of the lack of clavicle skin, it ended up giving this area to the arm instead of this. There's a bone right here for this. So let's see if we can skin it back. And probably if we're gonna go like one row past it, it's like here. Like this, and then one row past it on the front would be there. But where this part looks kind of fine, but it might just be more subtly deformed. my guess is that this row, weighting it back to this top clavicle thing, it's not the actual actually it is the actual clavicle, but there's the actual clavicle and like another one that had this thing under its influence. So apply is not the button. Paint. So let's go find who owns this. So spine 5 honestly should own more, right? So what if I 0.5 this, which is green? I take it back. It's can you go back? Yeah, okay, you can go back. It's a little weird. ngSkinTools is firing multiple commands is what's happening. So you have to click a bunch. So like one button here is actually firing multiple Maya commands. So the undo is a couple undos, but it will undo eventually. So it's more like 0.25 perhaps, because this blue is pretty low. Okay, so that kind of pops it back up. That's giving it to spine 4. It's not going to really fix it, but let's go see how clavicle is handling it now. So clavicle is also around 0.25. Let's see a flood back to 0.25 for clavicle. Okay, we want more, so we'll go 0.3. Nope. 0.5 maybe. So we're taking it back a bit. And then we want to smooth this a little bit. Not too much. So we're basically splitting this area now. I'm pretty sure we've completely 100% flooded it between clavicle and spine 4. Right? These are the two things holding this now. That's what it probably should have been, with a bit of a fade off like this here. To be fair, there's a full mesh if you bring bridge directly into Maya from 2020. Really? That's skinned? I should go do that. A full mesh if you bridge it directly to Maya from Quixel. How do you do bridge to Maya? Do you need a plugin? I should go try that. This is that time. This is when I need it. But at the same time, there's an incredible amount of value from being able to hardcore rig it. But let's look how let's look how this looks. This is a mistake down here. Then again, should clavicle really? It should. It should have some weight down here. But let's see how this moves now. Ooh, it's still like very crunched out, but let's see. That might be okay with like the fixed bones. It's not bad. It's not bad. Because possibly the bone, when you do this, all this like corrective stuff happens. So it won't actually look like this. That's pretty good. I'm gonna say that that's good. Okay, so it wasn't that bad to fix it, but I didn't like it. I don't like having to do work. So underarms, battle you 50-50 between here. Maybe I think you probably grab like the problem patches here and under here, and you give it like to start like 0.2 to spine 3, right? Just so that it's like, you're kind of hard parented. And then from there, I would split it between these two bones, the problem area, like the armpit, basically. Like whatever, the remainder of that. So like 0.7, like whatever, like 0.4, 0.6 or whatever is going to make that work out here. And then this one is like 50% spine 3 and like 50% clavicle. Something like that. We could also go look at the weightings of the actual MetaHuman, but at the end of the day, when you're rigging a character with custom clothes, it's up to you. I mean, like you have to decide how you want it to move. Like how rigid is this? This is metal, then this doesn't move at all. Like is it? Well, I mean, it's gonna have to move a little bit, but anyway, that's my fix for this area. Not looking at the head yet. So let's do the mirroring on the other side and see if I've actually learned my lesson. How to do this thing. 36 or 37. But I do want to, if there is that mesh that you're saying is in the Maya bridge thing, then I want it. So I have my like wake up in front of me for no reason. I think I was like hitting it by accident. That's why something was freaking out. Okay, so that was the left arm. It feels good to do that, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Just like take control of your life. So we'll go up and yeah, I guess go up here. Same exact thing, but not so worried about it now. Pretty much know how this should go down. I'm gonna try the spine 3 weighting on this part too. Though this is honestly perfed up pretty smooth, but maybe it'll help this kind of like, I've lost like the row here, but I have a couple ideas on that too. Oh, is the back super bad? No, that's fine. This is all going to go into the shoulder pads, and then we'll hard rig the shoulder pads after. I'm not going to build the control rigs in Unreal Engine today, though. It's not the goal. Okay, not bad. It's hidden in LOD0 body section. Oh, how do you do the export? I got to try that. Okay, so problem areas are... You know what's funny is it's not this one anymore. It's only this row because this one was far enough away. It's pretty cool. So it's just this, easy. And I already full weighted the neck back to spine 3 or 4 or whatever. And it's just going to be this patch area plus 1 and this here. So it's not even that bad. So we're going to do full weighting. I haven't even hammered this stuff to smooth it. Like that's like the last step. Like you got to get the weighting as good as possible and then and then hammer it after to kind of do like, oh my God, do like the final smoothing. This, you. Holding shift is good. This one. Okay. Hammering it would do an awful lot, but it's doesn't fix it though. It still does it in a bad way in my opinion. So back to paint. We need to go over to spine 4. It's spine 4 rather. Okay, so kind of awkwardly spine 4 is not present at all here because of how strong these bones were here. So I kind of think a good approach to start here is flooding this to 1 on spine 4, essentially hard rigging it, and then splitting it back between these 2 bones after. But knowing that it's always going to kind of default back to here. Oh, what did we miss some? I missed one, so let's go back. So going back is multiple undos. Oh, in this case it was just 1. That was too much out of the gate. So that's not a good one to flood it to. It's too deformed. That's kind of interesting though. Wait, how come flooding this to 1 made it go so far in? And who was left? What is this for doing? Who is that? Where is that? Does that mean there's like another like inner face from like the inner shirt that's like freaking out? There's something else happening over here that's different. This is questionable. I can't see exactly what the problem is. But there's another triangle inside of this one that I have to sort out. This has obviously got influence in a bad way. That didn't work like I thought it would. Spine 4 weighting this should return it back into like pretty much its formal shape because I haven't deformed this. But I guess everything around it is moved too much to do it that much. So, I'll do 0.1 to start. Interesting. No, we missed a vert. There's a vert there. That's who we missed. Okay, so we'll go back to selection mode. I just missed that one. Okay, so back into paint. They shouldn't change anything. It'll just hopefully bring that one kind of in line. There we go. Okay, so now it's at 0.1. Interesting. This one also is maybe part of the gang. See how it's like this like row here? I think this one is also coming along. It wants to be weighted the same way. This is essentially the ring of the vest armhole that should be owned by the armpit. And the armpit's a problem because we skin it originally with the arm down. That's the main problem. So this is that row. So when you're 3D modeling the under armpit hole of your garment or whatever, it's like you're going to be back you're going to be back in here eventually. Oh shit, that's my selection. So make it quads, make it good, because you're coming back. Okay, so back into paint world. Now I kind of want it's not quite ready to hammer, but I'm gonna I don't know if flood does. Okay, so it doesn't fix this issue, but they're starting to be more uniform. So there's like a little bit of weighting on it. So now I'm going to give the majority. So we're like 0.1ing this. I'm gonna like I want to 0.9 and 0.8 this lat right. This one. And so it's nothing, and that's insane. So this should be like 0.9 probably, but I forget what the other was. I don't know what happens if you slow crank it. I'll start low and kind of start pushing it in. Not as much. Let's go to 0.7. Brings it back in. That's a lot of it. And what about 0.9? There's smooth too. We haven't smoothed or hammered. Okay, so that's way too much. So the question is, if I go back to 0.5, see like that, you want to go incrementally because we're taking it away from the other bones that own it. That being said, if I go 0.9, it's currently 90% the lat bone and 10% spine 4 or whatever, and 0% this bone, which is inner arm, which is the one I want to give it back to. So it's going to be upper arm inner. That's not going to work. How is this thing spelled? Upper arm star inner? I thought that's what it was called. Upper arm in. There, I found you. Now, I don't know what this blue mode is, so I'm scared. I'm going to get out of here. Did I lose selection? Hopefully not. I did. And what's this mask shit? Okay, I lost my vert selection. I need that back. Sad. Give me my mask back. There it is. Okay. Upper arm inner right. It's this one. Paint. Okay. Wait. Is it right? It's right. It's this one. Upper arm inner should be the armpit. It should be this bone, but it doesn't seem selected. There. Wait. There it is. Now it is. Okay, we just got to like reselect it. Okay, so like we want to wait between spine 4, latissimus, and armpit, which is inner arm in, upper arm in. So starting slowly at 0.1, we start to take it back a bit. We could do add, but I'm going to just like, oh, actually add's pretty safe, but I'm going to still do it this way. 0.15, not enough of difference. 0.2, that's it. We're done. That's it. We still have some like weird jaggedy things. It's like smooth, but I'm gonna call that. That's good enough for me for now. We could have gone another row out, and we can start hammering at this point. But that's the general solve for this, and then definitely some smoothing and hammering after. So like I would grab the kind of larger problem area and just start hitting smooth on this one after. I'm gonna save at this point, because I'm going to start doing some more like, I mean, the whole thing is pretty experimental. I could probably have like 50 iterations deep of just the skinning part, I'm sure. Okay, so the next problem area is going to be this lack of, what's this bone called? There's clav, and then there's like this actual clav up. I think there's like clav upper and clav lat or something like that. But let's grab the area that should have basically gotten rigged to the clavicle. And then I kind of want to go into bridge and go get like the real one, if there is like an actual head one there. I think we need the whole armhole, so I should have switched to ISO already. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want to influence the armhole too. So I think it holds the selection. I'm gonna go in. Oh no, wait. ISO this, ISO this. Switching back to verts. Do we still have it? We don't. Oh well, I'll get it back. So kind of look at like where this topology starts to get bad, and it's about here. And maybe we take it a row past it. No, we're gonna select it like directly, like only the bads. And it's not these actually, because we're gonna use a smooth after, or a hammer is very similar. And then you want to use these as boundary floods. Hopefully smooth only goes like one vert out. I have no idea. I consider these are, well, see this one's holding. You can tell that like this is like a fade between here. So we'll probably not take those ones. I could definitely have double clicked from here to there and it would have grabbed all these, but here we are. So that's the trouble. Should have been weighted to the clavicle area. So was I full? Did I full weight it to the, I don't remember the order. I'm gonna watch this VOD back and see which ones were better. We're gonna just smooth and hammer weight those too. That should help pop them back up a little bit into more of like a rounded shape, hopefully. But they're skinned was the main thing. So let's go check out who owns these. So we kind of want to start by giving them to spine 4 a bit, I believe was the idea. I don't remember how much. Green. We want to make them green. So it's like 0.3 or 4, I think. Nailed it. 0.3. Nice. That's fucking done already. If I smooth this out now, that's already kind of done. But then we want to make sure that the other half is going to only the clavicle, because it was going to like all this upper arm shit. We want to make sure that we've flooded out all the rest. And so clavicle R is going to take a large chunk of this. I did something where I typed it and then like there's clavicle pec R. Isn't there just regular clavicle? There's a bunch. Star underscore R. Clavicle R, that one. Yeah, that's what I want. We're just gonna actually bind to it. And we want it to be yellow too, because it's like it's all yellow here and it's green there, so we want like a little bit more. So that took it away, but that's fine because we're flooding out any arm influence that was bad. So maybe it's just straight up 0.5. Little strong on this edge. We should have pulled back because it's gonna like kind of too directly influence the neck now. How far can I go back? That's enough. We want to drop this row selection back out and let that smooth over because this is too much. So I could paint it because we have this masked. It won't let me do the other ones. Or I can go select it. I guess I'll go select it. Did I lose the selection doing that? I did. So you have to do this. We don't want this to get orange there, or whatever it was, yellow. Clavicle R. Back into paint mode. Now we can flood to 0.5. It's yellow with a fade to green. We have some smoothing between the boundaries now, but that's pretty much a fix. And so we have this too is being unevenly weighted. Probably this, I would take this section here, maybe this part, and then we'd flood the difference, the smooth difference. Probably give a little bit more to that bone. Like this bone's gonna pull it hopefully back towards this. Would probably be the idea. I'm gonna try a couple different smoothing techniques now. After I save though, because this I would take into Unreal and I'm like, that's fine. For my level, I'll be fine with this. Oh, I gotta fix the neck a little bit. Have the neck move a little bit based on 1. Give it like 0.1 or something like that to neck 1. Okay. So I think smooth is, well, I'm going to hit smooth and we'll find out. Will smooth only smooth within itself or will smooth boundary out? Because I have these, they're hard to see, but I have a quad patch selected. And so the question is, if I hit this thing with a smooth 100, will it affect the outside row or does it only work within itself? I would just suspect it floods out completely. Smooth. Oh, we'll do the defaults, yeah. I wonder if it says only existing vert influences. Only adjust existing vert influences. I don't know what that means. Distribute to other influences. Removed weights. I don't know what this means. I think this button might mean that it jumps out a layer. Okay, so let's try doing this one. Oh, I saw it. It's doing it. It's just yellow. It's just hard to see. Okay, that kind of works. It's not bad. So let's try the other side. And I don't think it matters what bone you're going for at this phase. So we're going to go to paint select. That's not paint select. This is paint select. And we're going to start to take the problem areas. And like this is also kind of like hammering, but I think it's better. I think it's better than hammer. So we're going to smooth and we're going to let it distribute to others, which I think it lets it kind of like go further, which maybe I won't. All right, so it's like, it's kind of like what hammer does, but I think it does a better job. Right, so kind of holding this mass a little bit better here. Come back here. Yeah, it's like a hammer, but good. I wonder how this is gonna go. Nah, I need to like take the whole section. We'll leave that alone. So this whole area got excluded in the smooth. So let's smooth this kind of radius back out here. So it's kind of like 3D modeling again, except you're 3D modeling based on a morph, like a smooth skin morph. Ooh, that got weird for a second, but then better. Yeah, that's better. I can keep this kind of silhouette here. This is a star, so it's always gonna be a little stretched. I didn't go maybe high enough on the topology here, but kind of bringing this back towards there's no fixing that. I didn't give it enough topology. I don't love how this is like, you know, like the vest comes with it, and that doesn't make sense. But the thing is, otherwise the vest would stay down and like the inner shirt would have to come out, and that's like that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna rig that. I don't even know if people do that. Let's see. I wonder if this will get fixed with a smooth. Kind of doubt it, but like this. Like what happens if I smooth this? Kind of. But I think it's probably just like a misweighting more than it is anything else. But that kind of pulled it back a little bit. And then same thing here. It's like, can I really just start to resolve this by smoothing? Like these two. It's kind of like hammering. Pretty sure that's a hammer. That feels like it's a hammer weight behind the scenes, but like an iterative hammer weight. Like hammer weight just like hits it hard, whereas like this has an intensity. So it must be doing something slightly different. Oh, that's the wrong way. I kind of want to hammer this one. Let's see how bad that is. Nope, wrong way. Go back. Smooth is, I don't know, smooth seems like the move. I know a lot of people use this tool for that. Pretty good. Pretty fine. Let's hammer these like super weird ones back here. There's like two verts like almost like on top of each other here. That's like so far out it's a hammer. Yeah. Well, hammer and then smooth, see how it goes. Ooh, okay, I want this back up there kind of, but these are misweighting. You know, so the problem is like if you're hammering, you're kind of like, it looks at the surrounding verts and like averages it, but if they're misweighted, it doesn't really matter though. It's still being influenced by the wrong bone or something. So like kind of like temporary. It's like kind of like an okay fix, but not perfect. So then let me hammer this one too. What about smoothing? Hey, that's smooth though. Oh, this smooths are it. Let's take this whole row. Nope. What just happened? I feel like I just hit undo, but I hit smooth. There's something crazy. It's probably just like really problematic weighting in general. It's just being influenced by the wrong bone. I don't know. It's whatever. It's slightly untangled now. Same untangling has to happen here. This is just what happens when you A-pose. Sometimes it's smooth, sometimes a hammer. What's the difference? I don't know. They're both returning this thing back into a regular line, so that's what we're going for. Kind of want this to be like, but again, it's a weighting issue probably. I want this to go back. What's hammer gonna do? Oh, hammer did it. How about you? Just kind of distribute this stretching a little bit here. Oh, perfect, man. This is the tool. This is it. Okay. That's pretty good. So I think the last thing is to like full hard select the neck and give it like the collar and give it 0.1 to the neck, something like that. 0.9 to the spine 4 is a nice distribution. You can watch Witcher 3 and kind of like see how they weighted it. The collars do move a little bit with the neck. And then it comes down to, well, how you animating it? Like, do you animate the neck at all? Like, how much is moving? And I'm in like, I just got the Skellige in Witcher 3. And if you watch the cinematics, their neck animations are not good. They're like, it's like pretty basic. I don't know, like I can kind of see like how my Vicon necks kind of look like that too. Kind of similar. Like they don't make sense. Like there's like a weird aim constraint on it or something with the heads, because when they mocap it in the real world, almost definitely later on, the 3D characters are in different places. So when they're supposed to be looking at each other, you have to like kind of like fix that. And the necks just never look right. They're kind of the thing that gets compromised to make sure that the head is actually looking in the right place, and it looks super weird for a lot of these cinematics. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then we're pretty much going to rely on Epic Games' pose drivers to fix the other things. But as far as the skinning, pretty smooth, right? The collar's not jacked anymore. So the collar fix is not that bad. Like, and in the end, the copy skin weights gets you there, but you're going to have to do these tweaks anyway. So if you couldn't fix this, you wouldn't be able to fix any of the other problems that will happen later on too. And then as you get further and further away from skin tight, you're just rigging it again. And it's almost to the point where you need to change the skeleton. Like if like if this was really, really big, you kind of need to extend the finger bones and stuff like that. Like it starts to just not work out. So I don't have a head, but I'm just save as, because this is pretty much done. Or it's testable, right? I'm sure there's like there's always little problem areas that can be fixed, but what are we in? Oh, so I turned off joint selection. So basically like the neck 1 on my solver is too active. It's one of the problems I have right now. Neck 2 is kind of like the counter. Like if your head's trying to stay straight, like up and down, but you move it forward, it's like, these two counter rotate. Like this goes that way and this goes back. So like which one of those is really going to drive the collar? I would say it's neck 1. And depending on what kind of stuff you have on your head, if it's anywhere near touching this, you could also drive it from the head too. Like if like you're wearing a helmet that like really dictates when the helmet would clip into the neck, you could possibly drive it from the head. Maybe you split it. I'm not sure. But let's take. I'm gonna just. I wish I had this vert selection still, but I'm gonna go back and get this row. I'm basically taking the whole collar, and I'm going to give it 0.1 to the. Oh, we needed a subdivision here. That's too late. Oof, why? Damn it. This definitely needed a subdivision. Shit. This needs more topo, but I wanted to rig it first, but now I know it's like, okay, this is a very active area. This is a very active, stretchy area. We need like easily double the topology of this to do this right. But let's take this neck selection and give it to neck 1 at 0.1. Neck 1. So we're going to do replace 0.1. Let's go to paint so that I can see what's happening. 0.1 and apply. So the other 0.9 is to the spine, aka it's pretty much like a rigid bind. But now if I do this, like it should be somewhat subtle. It's kind of not, but the color kind of like goes with it. I feel like we could probably do even less, but this will hopefully stop the neck from popping out. See, it's not like fully going with it. Like it's just a little bit. It does, it does 0.1. It does 1/10 of what the neck is doing. So just kind of generally, mostly so like if we do like a huge thing. What's that? Oh, it's the inside. Okay, I was like, oh shit, I screwed up one of the rigs. It's just gonna kind of come along for the ride. And then the other consideration is that like the neck only does kind of like the big head movements. Is that this bone would be great with an actual head mesh on there. If you do like this, your chin would be like, and the same with this too, that if you did this, that your head might be clipping through here at this point. So I'm going to return this back to T-pose. And I think only the top row. Actually, I might do that same selection again. I'm going to give it like 0.1 or 0.2 to the head to kind of stop the head from clipping through. If I like, you know, I need an actual range of motion animation to check it with an actual head mesh. But if you tilt your head back, it's going to clip through the collar at this point, I'd imagine. And maybe it's like, you know, 0.1 for this, 0.1 for this, and like 0.2 for that, something like that. I could see that. Maybe that's too high. Maybe it's more like spine is spine owns everything, and then it's like 0.05, 0.1, 0.15. It could be like that too. I need the head. I need the final head to really to know that. Did I lose this selection? I did. I'm gonna skip neck 2 and just give 0.1 to the head, and I need the head mesh to like actually properly get that right here. Wow. Okay. I keep screwing this up. And we need more resolution on the neck collar. If we're gonna do all this like neck deformation stuff, we need more resolution here because like this is insane. It's really bad. Yeah. So let's give this to the head. Here, we'll do 0.1. Just see how that goes. Oh, I didn't see it, but I probably did it. Blue, right? Yeah, okay. Light blue. It's like a lot, actually. But now if the head goes back... Ooh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Oh, and I missed a row. God damn it. I missed the inner row. Well, and 0.1's way too much. So let's see how far back we can go. Oh, I missed an entire row. So this looks like I'm still selecting things, so it's probably not weighted right now. I missed this row. And I'm thinking about removing this one. That's not... Oh, can you not remove rows that way? Do I have to unremove them like this? I guess I can start doing control drag ones. What? That didn't deselect. Why isn't this? I like can't get under this one. This is gonna end up, this one vert's gonna end up getting influenced. I can't get it. I suppose I could just, let's just select it from scratch. I need more resolution to do this kind of like head rigging. I forgot this row. We're gonna do 0.05. Okay. Paint mode, head. Oh, that was base. I don't know how I saw something, but I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's do 0.05. Oh no, no. Select it all the way down this shirt. Damn it. I have to select it again. I don't know if you can do selection sets. I know in Max you can. I don't know how you do that in Maya. Okay, are we selecting anything else weird? We'll find out. Okay. Back to paint. Weights 0.05. That looks fine. Let's see how crazy that was. 0.1 was pretty strong, surprisingly. Yeah, so we'll see. Like as he looks, you know, it's going to be a combination of his head turning and his neck. So you kind of like split the rig. You kind of like, I mean, it depends on how you're animating or solving. Oh, I can't grab the whole chain. Where is it? Oh, here it goes. So basically like sometimes all three of these turn if you're going to turn your head. So it's in combination that they would also turn the neck collar piece so the collar doesn't, your head doesn't clip through the collar. Depends how big your head is. How big your chin is too, specifically. And then hair also. I have very long hair, so like in my MetaHuman, am I in a world space rotation right now? It doesn't really matter. But anyway, this starts to help a little bit. It kind of gets the color a little bit out of the way as the head moves around. So this type of weighting anyway, you kind of need to do that even with copy scan weight, so it kind of doesn't even matter. But let's return you back to your friendly pose. Here we go. Okay, so that's pretty much the rigging. ngSkinTools. Not possible without that. Very painful without that. So let's see if I can go bring this back into the Unreal Engine. I'll just do the materials there. I think skinning on basic materials looks fine like this anyway. Oh, you know what? I didn't do the armor. Hold on. I got to do the shoulder pads real quick. These are getting hard rigged. They're going to clip, but I want that to happen actually. That should be fun. It gives me a reason to learn the control rig back end of this. So we are going to, let's just hide this stuff for now. Actually, it's fine. So we're going to rig, we don't need copy scan weights for this. We're going to rig the shoulder to the skeleton, skin, whatever that bind, and we're going to rig the upper armor also to the skeleton bind. Then I guess I'll use ngSkin. Should I use ngSkinTools for this? I guess why not? This mesh will initialize skinning layers, and we want this entire piece to go to clavicle L. $100, and we want this entire piece to go to clavicle R at 100, like that. Then this one, this got rigged too, right? Initialize this one. We're gonna look for upper arm L, which this is gonna cause clipping later, but maybe after I'll come back and add a bone for each one of these, and then they kind of slide around depending on some sort of like pose driver I write in control rig. But we'll take 100% of this bone or this mesh and give it to upper arm L at 100, hard binding it, and then this entire mesh is going to go to upper arm right. That's the other tool, the default Maya tool. Well, I would be applying it now actually, so I'm used to like kind of sliding it around, but that doesn't happen here like that. So that's hard binding. There's going to be collisions and stuff like that, but fix that in control rig maybe. Let's look at the final for now. Let's see how this is going. We're being too active. Not all of these spines really move like that, but pretty good. We're just gonna let that happen to the belt for now. It's fine. I don't do a ton of this stuff anyway. It's looking pretty good. Okay, clavicles. Being asymmetrical, you kind of have to test both. But yeah, so it's like if I'm too shouldery with my mocap, it's like, you know. So we have to be like, you know, just like in the real world, if you had huge shoulder pads on, you can't pick your shoulders up very much. It's the same thing. So this is definitely a clip issue here. If I like go for like an overhead sword attack, it's very likely this is gonna go in there, and it happens in the game The Witcher too. They have the same problem. But it's rigged on there now. No noticeable problems. It's stretchy, but that typically is okay. But there's no like inner penetration, and you know, obviously at certain extremes it looks insane, but overall viable. At a certain point, this will clip through the shoulder because they're not squishy rigged. But just like in the real world, it's like if you're maxing out, it's like you're gonna collide armors, and then your armors start colliding. So, but the hard rig usually works out for that part of the arm. It doesn't deform that much. And then upper arm L, it's the same thing with the armor rig. It's like, okay, at a certain point, it's like, yeah, you're through your rigid shoulder pads. But in the real world, they would stop you from moving here anyway. Same thing. And we just accept the like squishy rig down here, and mostly that's fine. Also, this is probably going to move down, and this muscle probably also transforms based on arm rotation. And lower body stuff, blah, blah, blah. We'll check that out like in actual Unreal Engine. So let's reset you. And that's the skinning for now. Rather easy one to skin though. And the fingers worked out beautifully. I just kind of modeled them kind of weird. So let's get this into the engine. Can start to look at it. Assemble the materials in Unreal too. So let's take the first piece here. Upper body. So we grab the root and upper body. You see file, export selection. Now this is a new Maya for me, so let's see if I'm screwing any of these settings up. It's not anything too nuts usually. Let's just see how this stock one goes out. So we have our actual now 2UE folder. And this is a skeletal mesh, MetaHuman, male tall normal, and we'll say Witcher 1, upper body 1. You can get errors here, and we didn't. That's great. Next one will be the root, and wait, yeah, and apparently we did these completely separately, so that's kind of I should have combined these. It's not too late, but they're going to be different skeletal meshes. This should have just been one skeletal mesh, really, but whatever. We'll have multiple. It's fine. You can take the shoulder pads off, but there's no shirt. Anyway, this was the waist. It's going to mean like an extra skeletal mesh in the whole chain later, but I just want to see it at this point. Skeletal mesh, MetaHuman, male tall normal. It's also a 0.5 version, but because there's versions of MetaHumans now. Upper arm. I'll just say upper arm. It's fine. No errors. This is good. Shoulder armor. File export selection. This one. We'll say shoulder. And then lower body. These two. In this exact hierarchy layout. Oh, did I not do a number? I did. Okay, good. Lower body. Outputs. Okay, so that's the rig. We'll see how we did on the Unreal Engine side in a minute. This is helpful. I have the project up installed? Yeah, I think I do. Okay. So I haven't done anything in this project yet. So we'll say Witcher. So this is where I'm going to start pumping this stuff. We'll call it skeletal meshes. We're going to have a textures folder pretty soon. Oh man, Unreal Engine 4. Oof. Not 5. Let's go to UE. Let's start with the upper body, this one. And the real test now. It didn't see that as a skeletal mesh immediately. That's really bad. Well, we'll see. We want to do it to the MetaHuman base skeleton. And we shouldn't have to do anything else. We'll let it create the materials. Oh, okay, yeah. It didn't even see it as a skeleton, so something's wrong. No, cancel. Don't do anything. That's a problem. Let's go see what happens. I'm surprised I even made the materials. And what's not gonna let me delete these now? They're gone. No, it auto deleted them. Okay, so let's see what happened here. Root, upper body. You're for sure rigged still, right? So this and upper body. Let's just try just one at a time then. File export selection. That should be upper body. Did we we might have stripped something out of this export. I kind of want to just go back to this, see what this is. Preserve references, history, no. Constraints, no. Other stuff comes through. Smoothing groups, I mean, yeah, but I'm gonna leave it. Smooth mesh, no. Oh, there are selection sets. I gotta learn how to do that. Reference asset, I'm pretty sure it's like all of this is no, and then maybe smoothing groups. Animation, no, but we want the deformed mesh in skins. That's the skins mostly. No, we don't. We can't. Constraints don't come across. No cameras, no lights, no audio, no media. Pretty sure that's a no, but we'll leave it. And then this is whatever. It's fine. I don't think there's anything like broken about it though, so I don't know. It not seeing that immediately as it's not good. Let's do upper body. It not seeing it as a skeletal mesh is super odd. Super odd. Let me just see what this looks like when it comes in. Yeah, no smoothing groups because I turned off smoothing groups. Why aren't you a skeletal mesh? That's scary, weird. Super weird. This is how I was doing it before, so there's something wrong. But anyway, the mesh looks fine for what it is. Has the right material elements, so that part of the workflow is fine, but the skeleton's not there. That's super freaking weird. Let's bring it as a skeletal mesh, but not put it on the MetaHuman. Why do you not see the skeleton? Something's wrong on my end. Could not find the bind pose. We'll use time0 as the bind pose. Okay, so it sees a skeleton. So what's going on in here? Nothing. What is this skeleton? Okay, well that's definitely why it's wrong. Huh. Hold on. I haven't done this out of Maya. I did it out of Maya LT, which is like worse. How are you supposed to properly export this? What's going on here? I'm going to save as before I start doing anything weird. Where's your skeleton, friend? Oh, no, I'm back in selecting skeletons. This and this is how I always export this, and it had been working. Oh, I never gave thickness to the bottom. Next time. Okay, let's look at some other stuff here. This has a skin cluster modifier on it. It's also locked, which is what happens when this is done properly. What's it, Piero? Yeah, skinning is a tough, but it's doable. You have to know the MetaHuman skeleton. I think that's the challenging part, because there's a lot of bones in there and they all do very specific things. But I just went through it. It's knowable. It just takes time. Exporting this back out though is not working, which is really sad. It's not good. It should be just this. Export selection. I've done this so many times, but you know, doesn't mean I'm not. Let's reset. Okay. FBX. I wonder if it's a version thing. I don't know. FBX default extension preserve references. I mean, I don't want any of that shit. I don't want any of that shit either, but it shouldn't hurt it. This. I mean, then all the settings happen here. I want my smoothing groups. We don't really want the smooth meshes, and there's no references, but it shouldn't super matter. I'm trying to turn that off. Okay, that's probably a mistake, because then this isn't in there. I had these settings all set up fine for Maya LT, but that should usually do it. That should send it out as one skeleton. Trying to think about what's the variable here that wouldn't be working. There you go. Okay. I don't know what changed. We're going to try to put it onto the MetaHuman, the new MetaHuman skeleton. That's fine. It just means we're not rigged to those things. Okay, that means it worked. Okay, I don't know what happened. There's something wrong with them in the settings for the for Maya. I don't know what, but I reset it and did some stuff and should be fine. Meaning I got to re-export all of these pieces then. Who knows? You said it, you get it right once and then it works and then you never change it, hopefully. Lower body. Shoulder. Oops, nope, this one and shoulder, arm, shoulder ones. And the lower, which is ridiculous to have these as separate, but it's fine. Okay, hopefully these all come into the same damn skeleton now. They should. This isn't the variable part. This part is not the hard part usually. We're gonna lower. MetaHuman skeleton import. That's fine. It's expected. Yeah, that's fine too. Actually, that's fine. That's fine. So we'll go get the other ones. Let's go get the shoulders. MetaHuman skeleton. That one didn't give a warning. Makes me a little bit wonder why it's different than the other ones. Oh, it's in there. Actually, never mind. It's a docked window. That's why. We did get the warning. It's just we didn't see it. MetaHuman skeleton import. Blah, blah, blah. Nah, we're still getting the warnings. Okay. Those physics, obviously, if we were doing physics assets, we'd have to completely spend a couple minutes there, hours. So let's go get all the textures, and we'll go assemble this thing and look at it in a control rig. Take all of these. Should auto flag all of the normals for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, all converted to normal. It's pretty important. Need to make sure that these are sRGB. I think it auto flags them for you. But yeah, things go pretty sideways if you don't do that in your material. So we'll just build these directly into like the default materials. I'm not going to make a master just yet. No need at this point. I guess go construct these. So this is let's start with the chest. Wait. Oh wait, just these. Just go do the same thing in multiple times though. Gloves. All right, these ones. You would obviously make a master. You wouldn't make 3 different materials like this. There we go. Okay, we'll just hook them up stock before I start like really trying to fix anything. We just want to see it. We just want to see everything moving on a control rig. Which would then mean it would work for, once it's at that phase, it'll work for my mocap workflows. Normal. Occlusion. Metallic. That might be flipped. We'll see. Roughness. Seems possibly flipped. Is the metallic flipped? Why is that so shiny? Occlusion. Roughness. Oh. Occlusion, roughness, metallic. That's why. Okay, there we go. Still a little smooth. I feel like it's definitely possible that it's flipped. Either metallic or roughness is inverted, but we'll sort that out in a bit. So things might be too shiny. They seem a little bit weird, but that's all fixable. Base material. Normal. Occlusion occlusion roughness metallic. I'm not even sure about that order actually. I need to go look back if we actually did an ORM out of Substance Painter. I don't remember. Things seemed a little shiny. Occlusion, roughness, metallic. Something's wrong. so shiny. Why are you so shiny? So shiny. Is it the roughness got inverted? Roughness is usually not the one that gets inverted though, because roughness is usually pretty universally in PBR. 0 is very shiny, smooth, and then 1 is fully rough. And I'm not sure it's the metallic map that was doing that. So roughness, oh my god, occlusion, roughness. So we'll see now. I think that's inverted, or maybe the metal was just shinier than it was in Substance Painter. I think that's probably what it is. So we would do a base material where we would have a param that would multiply white over it or something like that, and basically adjust the roughness map in the parameter in like the material itself. I'll stick this over here. So let's go assemble a MetaHuman. This is a fresh project. You would usually start a base MetaHuman class. You wouldn't, but we'll just duplicate this one. Oh, he's actually the whole Witcher. There's no need to save him out. That's fine. We'll just do it directly into here. Actually, that being said, no, we'll start it in this new one, just in case I need I wreck something in here. It's possible. Just be alone. Okay. Yep. Okay, so started putting this guy together. Skelly meshes, so shiny. That leather, it's that base leather I chose does not look that shiny in Substance Painter, but once you bring it to Unreal, it's like full gloss leather, weird looking thing. So those are just materials. First of all, here's the skeletal meshes. So we can do legs. We're gonna lose his actual body in a second. The chest here, so shiny. Damn it, I made it so shiny in Substance Painter. And so we gotta add these in. We'll just put them in the feet slot, and I'll duplicate it. There's the shoulders, and then where's the lower? Those ones we gotta dupe this and then hook it up in the master. Do I have another free slot? Nah, torso, legs, and feet. So we'll duplicate this one and make this the lower arms. They should just be combined, but we'll leave them for now. Shoulder, upper arm. And so if we want this to like actually still kind of like stick together, we need to add another one of these in here. So shoulder got renamed correctly, but we're just syncing the body, the child skeletal meshes with the parent skeletal mesh, basically. Okay, so they should all fire together now. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot more to change, but that's the start. So he is a shiny boy, unfortunately, very shiny, and we don't need the body at all. Oh, is that gonna be an issue actually? What happens? I've never done it where you take the body mesh completely away. What is that a problem? I didn't think about that. I've never done this where you don't. I feel like my roughness map is inverted too. It's like everything's so shiny. I think it's inverted. I don't know if you can take away that skeletal mesh. We could make the material opaque. There's that. We could also bring it into Maya, delete the geometry. No, that'll fuck it up. Because it's skinned. We could make it completely opaque. I don't know if you can get rid of that actually, because that's what's gonna hold the blueprint, eventually the animation blueprint. So you can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of the skeletal mesh in this. So I'm just gonna make it like completely invisible for now. That's my only approach for this. Let's see. I think about that. I've never had to do this before. I always use the hands because I never feel like skinning the hands. Oh, it's just one material though, so that's fine. We'll just completely get rid of this. We'll just put it in the same folder. This is local to... It's in the local MetaHuman materials folder. We'll just make a clear material for now. What is this? We'll call it MHW body. Or MHW mat. What's my caps lock on? What is this? Mat body clear. I'm gonna have to figure out a better workflow for that for Sinitrace, so that's not something I don't want to do it like this. I don't want this like transparent object just floating around. Oof. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Yeah, what do we do if we want to drop the body out? We just need like a I guess I can just take the base mesh and delete all of it out except for like one polygon on the butt. Is like something like that. I don't know. There's probably a simple way of figuring that out. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that though. For now, we're just gonna make it invisible this way. But I'm pretty sure there's something in Maya I can do. Oh, we can do masked as well. Masked is a little cheaper, but we can do this. MHW matte body. Actually, we should only have one MHW at this point. So, okay. I'm pretty sure I can go back into Maya and just delete the meshy part. Oh, we got to do it locally. Sure, fine. Actually, that would have been better to do it locally anyway than in the actual body, but whatever. This project is only for this. So there he is. He's quite shiny, way too shiny. That's just some material tweaking. Let's make him his own map. This map's just like more trouble than it's worth. I don't have like any animations ready for him to test, but yeah, we'll make a maps folder. That's fine. This whole thing is going to get migrated to my mocap computer in a bit. Level world 1. We go download some Tudor houses and make a little Witcher set. That'll happen soon enough. Landscape. Hey, oh, the shader's fine. Give me that world grid. Look at this. Oh, no, that's the normal stuff. Never mind. I thought there was something new. Where are we? Oh my god. I guess we're done in here. Well, we'll see. Actually, we're gonna control rig them. This is what we're gonna look at next. So let's grab the directional. Nope. And a skylight. And some atmosphere because I'm lazy. And that's enough for now. So skylight also movable. Let's take the captured version. This one, real-time capture. Oh, we're in 4. I'm used to 5. I don't know. I have to remember how this works. But anyway, directional. How come? What's this? Who's this? We're all movable. What do you mean? I'm gonna have to go force delete out the static stuff, I guess. Let's change this to ambient. What needs to be baked? Doesn't make any sense. What's baking? Everything's dynamic. Movable. Oh, now it's gone. I see. Okay, bug or something. Let's just get these things out of here. Let's go to, wait, what? Where are they? Where's the origin? It's over here. Let's go to like 800 or something. Okay. The grid look crazy. Let's look at our MetaHuman. He's very shiny. Let's put him looking down actual world X. Which puts him into backlight. It's fine. Yeah, I guess we'll leave the skylight like that. That's okay. I don't forget if I turned ray tracing on in this project. I probably didn't. So we'll just use the spotlight then. No ray trace at the moment. Maybe I did. Well, let's find out. Let's find out if I turned on ray tracing or not. Come here. Oh no, this is the real. Okay, this is nice. This is nice. One of the Unreal Engines, like when they were prototyping the spotlight, it was like, it didn't look like this. It looked like a custom BP. It didn't have like a nice icon. And so let's do a fronty light from back here. Too far. We'll go 256, 256. Let's turn this one off for a second. Tune this one. I'm on manual, I'm on auto exposure, but we should be fine. Okay. Ray tracing on or off? Do we have ray tracing? Let's come to this side a little bit. Snapping's on, it's not helpful. So we'll look at this. Ooh, weird. Well, this is non-RTX at the moment, it must be. No, never mind. It is off. I don't think we have ray tracing on, so we're not going to get good lighting, but whatever. Okay, so let's check you out. I think overall dark. Just like the overall coloring is a bit too dark at the moment, though this lighting is pretty toppy from the tops. It's going to fall off like a full stop or 2 stops by the time you get to the feet if you light it this way. So we'll make this one big too. Kind of even out the light source. Now it should be more or less even across through here. We'll bring it back more towards like actual exposure, like 8. It's a little high. So yeah, the roughness, I swear, is like flipped. Like I was not going for like wet leather. I don't know what's going on here. And we're also screen space reflections, so we're getting reflections of the sky sphere in places that we shouldn't. I don't ever, when I do my mocap demos, we don't do this type of lighting. This is like not good lighting. But then again, the pants are these shiny? Let's go see what happened with these textures. Something crazy in here. Not this one. Where are you? Where's this stuff? No, of all the folders, no, it's definitely this one. Okay, so yeah, a good troubleshoot is like this leather. What is that? What happened here? Let's see. Wait, where? Oh, it's over here. It's over here. Okay, so let's see what's happening. So out of this occlusion roughness, what's actually coming out of here? White. That's good. That means that it's pretty rough at 1. Like white is rough, like not reflective. So what the hell's going on? Is the metallic? I'm going to start stripping metallic out of this. Let's take this all off. I got to figure out what the hell is going on here. Getting out of here. So if this is the case, if coming out of here is this white mask, then that means that this is not very, it's very not shiny. And so it must be the metallic is possibly inverted. So let's see how metallic is coming out. ORM. Okay. Okay, so that looks fine too, because that means like everything is black, meaning not metallic, except for the metal. So what is going on with this shader? Those maps are correct. So this should say only that's metal. That's fine. Then the roughness. It's just too shiny. I don't get it. How's this so shiny? And then the metal. Oh, it's because the albedo of the metal is black right now. It needs to be white to be actually reflective. I don't know. I guess I still have to pipe down just the over. What the? I have to pipe down like the overall reflective of the. Oh no. What am I doing? It's so shiny though. I don't get it. But I guess it's this occlusion roughness. So I mean, we could go to Painter, but I could also just start modifying it here on all of them. We can just add towards white. That's one way to do this. Will it convert this to a triple, a 3 vector? Oh, no, this is a single. This is a linear map. So roughness. So if I add like 0.1, it should start getting duller. Flatly duller, unfortunately. Like I don't even the metal. This is like a global reduction in roughness, but that's kind of what I need. Yeah, so we kind of did a flat. So unfortunately the metal's now gonna be like also 0.2. Also when I do these, they should all be separate meshes, but we kind of didn't like go like full finish on those anyway. But this kind of setup will work to just kind of flat fix the current overly shiny situation. So that's the roughness map here. But really it should be addressed back in substance meter. Occlusion, roughness. Just a little too shiny. But this does it to everything, so it's really not that great. Occlusion, roughness. And this is a very basic material anyway, but that's slightly better. No ray tracing, so it kind of only can get so far with the look here. But for for a game real-time mocap animation thing, it's gonna be fine. Okay, so let's see how he moves overall. I guess I'll put that in my local file. This is all gonna get migrated then, but who knows, maybe something helpful comes out of this. We don't need to be in this folder actually. Let's make a cinematic MH Witcher, just I don't know, CR1, control rig 1. There we go. The grid turned back on. Its name's crazy, but whatever. The control rig boot up for the first time. Let's put this here. Oops. Don't need this anymore. I'll put this over here. And see what we get. Some of this. Okay. That's not the right control. That's the hips control. There we go. Okay. Reasonable through here so far. Pretty good. Well, the knees are flipped. Huh, that's good. We don't have any separation. This is, I mean, this is always a thing. But so like, okay, well, yeah, it's gonna happen. When you're doing this, if you're hand animating, you can kind of re-push out. So like, yeah, so the belt kind of smushing is not solved. That's gonna just be how it is for now. Okay. I haven't control rigged for a while apparently. This is the hip body control. But it's overall right. But yeah, like as like this armor piece like kind of goes over the border of the hips, it's like, it's kind of like half dress at that point. I forget what the hotkey is for resetting a control. There's a hotkey for it. Let's switch to IK and see how that's gonna look. I'll drop a key down this whole jam too. Why not? Is it enter? It's been a minute. Yeah, there we go. Been in Maya world for a very long time. Can start to see how the twist bones are like actually firing now. It's pretty good. So we're doing new MetaHuman stuff here. We got the new MetaHuman thumb. Show me what we got here. That's pretty good. And that's going too far. On my local axis or my world? I've been in world. It's not good. Should just reset all those transforms. Those are all world transforms. Oops. Yeah, we gotta reset the thumb. There's a hotkey to reset this stuff. What, there's no rotations? There definitely is. How can you say there's no rotation on this? Oh, we don't have auto set key. This whole thing's gonna reset on when I do this. Okay, there we go. There. Oh yeah, it's just gonna completely reset. I guess that's not a bad thing anyway. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's not the axis we animate this on either. Jeez. There we go. Let's see the fist. So we'll curl these first and then reverse curl the metacarpals. So this has all the new finger bones in it. That's pretty cool. So that's like a quick fist. It's not like the full one we would go back in on the second fingers, but that's coming together pretty good, pretty well. It's also going to be our sword, somewhat close to the sword holding pose. So this is looking at like the skinning we did under there. And so in Maya, you really can't test the rig. You gotta bring it back here. There's a lot of action happening on that chest part up there for that. Looks okay. Whoa. This is world? Okay, so hands going up is always an issue. It's just like even in my retargeting, it's not great at the moment. So if we don't smooth skin, I mean we have an immediate collision, and if we don't smooth this skin, there's a bunch of corrective bones happening here. That's basically, you can tell it's pushing this out, whereas this is where it would have been inside. We can smooth bind this piece, but it's so big, you're gonna kind of see it like morphing around a bit. But that might be less offensive than that, having this come through, like when this happens up here. Though that being said, this is gonna counter rotate just a bit here. So at this point it clips into the body. But if we went to here, this is a bit of an odd hand position overall. I need to get my mocap suit. That's like the most natural way of finding poses and stuff. But, this is always going to be a thing where like these are going to kind of clip through each other. But I would rather these stay like kind of perfectly in the silhouette than have them smooth bound and like kind of be like this is realistically going to probably like end up clipping into here a bit. But I would rather them stay rigid and they clip for a second than they squish. I think that's for me that's worse. I really don't like hard armor squishing too much. And then, yeah, because we're seeing the corrective bone fire, this is going to come through here. But only in like kind of like extreme hand pose stuff. Arm positioned like high in the air kind of stuff. Like in like normal walking and general being a human being stuff is fine. Hence the A-reg pose or binding. But yeah, hands up is going to definitely be an issue. Oh, yeah, let's check the neck, check the head. I haven't done any head stuff yet, so let's see how this actually goes with an actual MetaHuman head on there now. Okay, it's fine. So they see the collar moving just a little bit. Same thing this way. It just gets out of the way a little tiny bit. And back to front, we should have the head very slightly influenced. So if I look like all the way, I mean, that's always going to be kind of a thing. But the collar is kind of moving with it, and the neck too will do nothing. It's kind of like an auto balance bone. But then this one has 10%, so this one has even more. Though if you do like, you know, if you go too far with the head, you're going to pop out of the collar. And that would be just like weighting it even more. But we can go all the way to here, which that's pretty far up to look. And if we basically distribute the rotation between neck 1 to head and skip neck 2, we could even give some to neck 2. The collar is kind of staying, you know, you're not jumping out of the collar like immediately. So I think that's probably okay. And the toe rig, let's see. It has toes. Okay, well, we could have done a little bit more in here. I didn't actually look at the skinning of the toes, but like, it's okay. It'll be fine. Look too close, it's a little bit weird. I didn't actually get in there and like kind of smooth out any of the stuff. Oh well. It's not too late. I mean, I can just, at this point, I can just keep jumping back and forth and change the rig a little bit. I can't believe how well the hands worked out. Even this is fine. I thought these were going to tear more. This is actually working out okay. I mean, they'll tear if I do this. No, they're actually fine. Oh, they're completely fine. Wow. Huh. Oh no, that's the wrong bone. No, it's this one. This one's gonna actually tear it. But you know, there's not a lot. There's 2 polygons between these fingers, and it's evenly just split them up. And I don't know. What do you give more polygons in there? I'm not really sure how you would fix that anyway. But it'll in the type of mocap I do with it, you won't see that stuff really. Okay, let's jump out of save this thing. Sequencer, well, I'll leave sequencer up, I guess. I'll put it back down here. Go to the bottom. Pull this out. Let's turn off control rig. So there's like a pose, a little weird. Just looking up, but that's kind of like the ROM test for my neck. And yeah, so like there's a probably should have sculpted that. So there's definitely poses where you're gonna see like into here. I just wanted to know that. So definitely sculpting all the way through there makes sense, but that's why these pieces are hulled. They have like full thickness. It's because like there's gonna be angles like that where it's like you really just see like right up into here. I still think overall everything's a bit dark, because I go for pretty dark lighting generally if I want it to look realistic, which this kind of fights me a bit. So I feel like the whole base, the pants definitely come up 10%, the base leather up 10% at least. The chest can still stay dark, but base leather needs to come up more towards like where the inner belt is. Like this one, I'd rather kind of like go back. But then again, we are auto exposing around a bit, but just kind of looking at his skin tone, and then like this is like pretty bright hair. It's just dark. Everything just like kind of disappears pretty quickly, which maybe is good considering how that we haven't gone like super high detail in certain parts. I'm gonna bring his head back down, but the neck, I'm pretty happy with that, with how the neck rig worked out. Oh, what's neck 2 doing? Crazy stuff. Oh, is it? Yeah, turn it up. That's what it's like.
My nose is like red.
Well, what's upstairs? You gotta crank. You gotta like crank it on. What's the temperature outside today?
It's cold.
Yeah, I get it. Outside? Well, there you go. I mean, it's just hard to heat a whole house.
It's a low of 1 today.
Wow. It is cold. Yeah, the shoulder placement was based on me testing like the upper bounds of when these clip. This is a weird ass running pose right now. Are the hips being? They look like they're level. It's just weird. Got weird. Where's the face board? Oh, did I turn off controls? Oh boy, it's been a minute since I've been in here. It's been a very long time, actually. I know these by name more than I know them by I don't use the board that much. I know I program the actual controls though, like all the time now. Yeah, I forget where everything is on this guy. It must be these. So it's these ones. Do they move local? If I put these on their local their component, they'll move together. So this is like the concerned. Like this crunches the eyebrows together. These ones, are these the head muscle? These are the eyebrows. Are these the eyebrows? These are the eyebrows. Yeah, okay. So then you bring these ones down. Yeah. Scrunching and flaring. And then where's lip press? Lip tighten, lip press, these ones. Nice running face. Let's pop out of this thing. Let's go to like, I should probably go to proper cinema camera, but they all the same. Let's turn this off. Everything's very dark, but then again, this lighting is kind of, I think this is a little bit too hipped out here for, especially given the kind of armor he's wearing. Go fix that. Anyway, I'll do a mocap take. This is like, I'm not as good at animating. Yeah, what? There you go. Yeah, what did we put this at? Oh, not that much, but still. This is a bit much too. Something about this hip thing is like throwing me way off. I don't like it at all, but I'm just gonna get his hand into the point where you can see the finger pointing silhouette, and I'm gonna take a screenshot. And that has been making a MetaHuman Witcher. I need to make swords and stuff, but that's all very, very, very standard. Where's this man's hand? He's about to cast a Witcher sign. I don't know which one. Yeah, everything's very a little dark. Spin the sun a little bit. Let's see. I mean, this isn't like great lighting or anything. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get on level a bit. Still a bit perspective-y here. Let's go to 50. I want to see the foot. Yeah, it shows off all the parts that I wanted. Definitely considering this is a bit of an issue, but shows how this is binding. This is bent, this is bent, this is in a fist. We're not showing off the neck stuff, but it's pretty subtle. And then the fingers are actually rigged, so that's what's shown there. Let's take a quick screenshot of this stuff. Oh yeah, first one of the project, that's cool. And let's turn on the control rig. think this screenshot takes the control rig. It's been a minute. It does. Okay, cool. So that was like, I don't know, how long was this? It was like pretty much 2 weeks to make this character. It was a bit longer than I thought it would be. Though I guess it was kind of spread out over like New Year's break or something like that. I don't remember. I think I started it actually right after that. But taking it all the way through the rigging phase through Maya, it's pretty good. And detailing after that is detailing. You would just basically come back in. You will have to re-rig parts, but you could go and sculpt this, and it just shows up in the texture, actually. If you didn't change things too much, you could just rebake the textures, and you would get detailing in here, but nothing about the actual mess really has to change that much. I was really worried about the hand stuff. It was completely fine. And the foot stuff, you just ignore the toes, unless you want to bind toes. But just like the old copy skin weights pretty much worked, and it would be like maybe a little bit like smoothing or bringing like the actual toe fold back, like an extra subdivision or something like that, and then smoothing that out. Maya and ngTools makes it pretty easy, pretty approachable. Doesn't look better on this side though, right? Yeah, weird. Yeah, what do you think, original name? I don't think the skinning is that bad. Copy skin weights, if you have a head, is a little bit easier, but you're still gotta get in there though. You know what I mean? You're still smoothing out, and as your armor gets weirder and stuff like that, like in coat, you still like, and so like, say you did like a coat that had like a long coat, like a trench coat with like a back skirt kind of thing. You can't copy skin weights that. You gotta really skin it anyway. It would have made this part slightly faster, but what would have happened is the head would have ended up influencing the neck, so you end up undoing that too anyway. So it's not too bad. I think if you're doing characters that had like hoods all day, you'd really appreciate like the rough start it would give you from a copy skin weights on the head, but it's really not too bad. Off stream, I guess I should try that import plugin, but this workflow for me, I could make all the MetaHuman skins I need to at this point. Just doing that exact thing over and over again would be fine. There's definitely some rigging challenges that could happen down the road for like skirts, and if you want to have stuff that's like, dynamic, whatnot. So the next step for me would be to do this again, maybe finish it like a little bit nicer, and then start adding bones to the skeleton. So we'd start making our own child skeletons based on this new MetaHuman 0.5 skeleton. So put the shoulder pads on their own bones, go in control rig, write a post-process blueprint for them, give them physics assets, add bones for like the necklace. We'd have like an anim dynamics bone kind of swinging around for the necklace and doing crazy things like that, and capes and stuff I've done before. And yeah, if you want, you just switch the main physics solver to chaos physics in 5 or 4, and you're using that one too. And that one's gonna get better over time. But word. So that pretty much concludes this series. It's kind of cool to produce it. If I had done a better job, it would be like basically like a course kind of, or something you could follow along. I've taken a course that's very similar to what I just did, minus the rigging and bringing it back into Unreal Engine part. Not that many people do that kind of stuff yet. It's pretty new. To make it work with the control rig. So me next, I have to go retarget this in Shogun to get this to work, but this is the project that's going to force me to do that, because like otherwise it's like, why am I going to spend that 6 hours? At least I have like a new skin. Basically, like I can't make him move until I finish the Shogun retargeting, so I'm forcing myself into using it now. So I'll do like a couple mocap tests once that's done with just him on his own, but then I'll come back and I'll make him some swords, because I went and bought training swords that are like the exact dimensions of the Witcher swords, like pretty much 40 inches. They have got good cross guards and everything. So I'm going to try to make mocap sets of basically the the Witcher 3 like attacks to start, and then clean them up in Unreal Engine too. See how far I can get with that, even with like the basic tools. Because I'm using Vicon, I don't have to do as crazy of motion editing as I normally have to do. So I think I should be able to finish it overall. Like you can bring the feet back up and fix little things, but like the big motions, I'm gonna rely on it being basically good from the Vicon stuff. But cool, that wraps this series up. It's been fun, and yeah, mocap stuff next. See you later, peace.